Chapter 4691. Gu Fei's clone was battling the dark demonic world's soaring evil lord. The mystique of the soaring evil lord was pretty incredible. Even Gu Fei's clone was hit, and was punched in the back by this elusive fellow. Preposterous. Gu Fei's clone was enraged, and the consequences were dire. In the next instant, Gu Fei's clone vanished into the void as well. Bam! Boom! The two experts were hidden in the void, constantly exchanging blows. The dull clashing sounds caused the spectators' blood chi to churn. Those with weaker cultivations were even spitting out blood. This was a battle between extreme Dao experts. Ordinary people would never have the chance to witness such a battle. The pressure that erupted from the two experts was simply too overwhelming. If you have the guts, go fight in outer space. The soaring evil lord roared. Then, a demonic light shot up into the sky and into outer space. Ha ha! As you wish. Gu Fei's clone appeared in the void as well. Laughing heartily, he shot up into the sky and into outer space to face off against the soaring evil lord. Seamless void. The soaring demon lord bellowed. In the next moment, his figure vanished into the void once again. He was nowhere to be seen. Immortal Dao void reversal. At the same time, Gu Fei's clone disappeared into the void. Both of them had grasped the void secret technique. However, Gu Fei's void reversal secret technique of the 9 secrets of immortal Dao was superior. Soon, the soaring evil lord was knocked out of the void by Gu Fei's clone. How is this possible? The soaring evil lord was indescribably shocked. This human was also an extreme Dao supremacy. Wasn't there only the legendary Pan Wu who was an extreme Dao supremacy? Since when did an extreme Dao supremacy appear in the human race? However, he had never heard of an extreme Dao supremacy appearing in the human race. Moreover, it was impossible for the dark demonic world to have an extreme Dao supremacy without any commotion. Every time an extreme Dao sovereign was born, heaven and earth would send down an extreme Dao heavenly tribulation. The might of the heavenly tribulation was enough to be sensed by all the extreme Dao demon sovereigns in the netherworld demonic world. Although the humans of the netherworld demon realm were all hiding in the Panwu domain, once someone tried to break through to the extreme grade, they would definitely attract the extreme grade heavenly tribulation. No one could deceive the heavens, because no one could even conceal the might of an extreme Dao heavenly tribulation. Who the hell are you? A trace of blood seeped out from the corner of the soaring evil lord's mouth. He was struck out of the void by a single punch from Gu Fei's incarnation, causing him to suffer a tremendous impact. Me? Well, I can be considered as a passerby in this world, Gu Fei's avatar said after some thought. You're not from this world? The soaring evil lord was even more shocked as he looked at Gu Fei's incarnation in disbelief. He had never thought that there were other worlds besides the dark demon world. He thought that the dark demon world was the only world that could give birth to an extreme Dao sovereign. However, the appearance of Gu Fei's avatar had subverted his understanding. Alright, I'll send you on your way. As Gu Fei's incarnation spoke, he punched out at the soaring evil lord opposite him. This was the breaking extremity fist, a fist that could break one's limits. The strength of this punch from Gu Fei's incarnation had exceeded his limits. This punch seemed light and airy. However, it made the soaring evil lord feel as though the entire heaven and earth was crushing down on him. It was simply powerful to the extreme. This punch from the other party was unstoppable. Damn it! The soaring evil lord retreated immediately without hesitation. However, the fist of Gu Fei's incarnation followed him like a shadow and landed on the chest of the soaring evil lord. Boom! Like a sudden clap of thunder, the soaring evil lord was blasted apart. Not only that, the fist force from Gu Fei's incarnation destroyed everything. In the starry sky, a black hole with a radius of 1,000 miles appeared. In the endless starry sky, a black hole with a radius of 1,000 miles was negligible. The soaring evil lord's essence spirit was also blasted apart by the punch from Gu Fei's incarnation. A demon lord of a generation was destroyed in both body and spirit just like that. Some of the quasi-supremes who had entered the starry sky to spectate the battle were stunned by this scene. The soaring evil lord was finished just like that. All the quasi-supremes of the demons were in disbelief. This was because the living being that destroyed the soaring evil lord with a single punch was actually a human. The soaring evil lord was an extreme Tao demon lord. Even Ming Lai's eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets from the shock of this scene. He had never expected the might of the punch from Ji Fei's incarnation to be so terrifying. It was able to destroy an extreme Tao demon lord with a single punch and destroy both body and spirit. The punch from Ji Fei's incarnation was simply like the universe was overturned, the heavens were collapsing, and everything was destroyed. It had probably surpassed the extreme Tao and reached another level. Let's go. In a flash, Ji Fei's incarnation came to where Ming Lai, Yaoyu, and the others were. Then, he waved his big sleeves and kept everyone into his inner world. Then, he rushed down from the starry sky. He directly entered the soaring evil city and found the teleportation array. Only then did he release Ming Lai, Yaoyu, and the others. Only Ming Lai knew where the Panwu region was. When everyone boarded the teleportation array, Ming Lai activated the teleportation array. A ball of demonic light flashed, and the teleportation array became empty. Just as Ji Fei's incarnation and the others left the soaring evil city, the news of the soaring evil lord being killed by a human spread. It instantly shook the entire soaring evil city. Soon, the news spread from the soaring evil city to the entire dark demonic world. Everyone was shocked. How is this possible? There is still an extreme Tao supremacy of the human race. Countless years ago, there was only one extreme Tao supremacy of the human race. Could it be that Panwu is not dead and is still alive? All the great demons of the dark demonic world were guessing. Panwu was a name that could shake the world. If Panwu was still alive, it would be incredible. Soon, the ancient factions of the dark demonic world started to take action. 3 extreme Tao ancient demons walked out of the ancient sacred land of demons. It is time to exterminate the human race. On this day, an old voice spread throughout the entire dark demonic world. The fall of the soaring evil lord made all the demons of the dark demonic world feel threatened. At this time, the Panwu region, a region with a special status in the dark demonic world, was facing a crisis. Countless powerful demons appeared outside the Panwu region. The Panwu region was located in the eastern state of the dark demonic world. The entire region was shrouded in the power of an extreme Tao domain. The power of this domain posed a fatal threat to the demons. No expert demons dared to barge into the Panwu region because it was no different from suicide. The Panwu region was equivalent to a small world that was independent of the dark demonic world. The last humans of the dark demonic world lived in this small world. Boom! A sudden loud noise broke the peace of the Panwu region. The entire Panwu region shook. A huge beast claw was disappearing into the void. Clan leader, this is the 5th time the demons have probed. If they still can't find a solution, the human race will really be doomed. In the Panwu region, in the Panwu Sacred Hall, the upper echelons of the human race gathered in the hall. The Panwu region was at a critical juncture. The power of the Panwu progenitor was weakening. If the power of the domain continued to weaken, the demons outside would be able to attack and destroy the Panwu region and the entire human race. We can only resign ourselves to fate. The old clan leader of the human race sighed in the hall. This. Chapter 4692. The Panwu domain had existed for countless years. It was a domain created by the great hero of the nether demon realm, Pan Wu, at the cost of his life. He created a small world in the nether demon realm for the human race to thrive. The human race had thrived in the Panwu domain for countless years. Experts emerged in every generation, but no one could take the final step and become an extreme grade supremacy. Without an extreme grade supremacy, the humans of the nether demon realm could only hide in the Panwu domain, not daring to come out. Of course, the human race didn't completely cut off contact with the outside world. They often sent people out of the Panwu domain to gather information from the outside world. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will emerge victorious. The humans in the Panwu domain were always preparing to kill their way out. But now, The domain power of the Panwu domain was constantly weakening. This was definitely a disaster for the human race. It was related to the survival of the human race. What made the humans despair was that they didn't know why the domain power was weakening, and why this was happening. Without knowing the reason, there was no way to solve it. Just as the higher-ups of the human race in the Panwu domain were at their wits' end, Gu Fei's clone appeared in a city 300 miles away from the Panwu domain with the unaging demon child, Red Dragon, and Yarrow Yu. They had teleported directly from the flying demon city to this demon city. This demon city was called the Scarlet Heaven Demon City. The city lord was a holy venerate level demon named Scarlet Heaven. Gu Fei's clone and the others didn't want to pay attention to this Scarlet Heaven demon saint, but this guy had come straight to their door, wanting to kill these humans who had suddenly intruded into the demon city. Since you want to kill me, then I'll have to apologize. Without needing Gu Fei's clone to make a move, Heavenly Emperor Ziyang directly stepped forward and killed the Scarlet Heaven Demon City Lord with a punch. A holy venerate demon saint couldn't withstand a single blow from a quasi-supremacy. Too cruel. The entire Scarlet Heaven Demon City was shaken. A human had actually appeared in the Scarlet Heaven Demon City and killed the city lord. Countless demons in the city were restless. Some demons even fled the Scarlet Heaven Demon City. The human race killed their way out of the Panwu domain. Demons cried out in alarm. In fact, the demons of the demon clan knew very well that as long as another extreme grade supremacy appeared in the human clan would come out of the Panwu domain and fight with the demon clan for the right to rule this world. The domain power of the Panwu domain is starting to weaken. Are the humans going to fight to the death? A demon from the devil race said such a thing. This was very likely. Once something happened to the Panwu domain and the human race could not be protected, the human race would definitely not just sit and wait for death. It was not impossible for the humans to have a life-and-death struggle with the demons. All of this was just the speculation of the various forces. However, when Gu Fei's incarnation appeared in the Scarlet Demon City, the three ancient demon sovereigns from the sacred land of demons finally intercepted Gu Fei and the others when they were about to leave the Scarlet Demon City. When the three huge demonic figures appeared outside the Scarlet Heaven Devil City, the entire eastern state of the Nether Devil world was in an uproar. Countless leaders of the demons rushed to the eastern state and the Scarlet Demon City. The ancient demon sovereigns hadn't appeared in a very long time. They were all super antiques that had existed for countless years and possessed extremely powerful cultivations. Ordinary extreme-grade demon sovereigns couldn't compare to them. There were even a few ancient demon sovereigns who had lived since the primordial era. Some of them had even fought Pangu, the hero of the human race. Humans, obediently come out and accept your death. The old voice spread throughout the entire Scarlet Heaven Devil City. What a joke. Why don't you come in and let us kill you? Crimson Dragon retorted from inside the City Lord's manor. They were having a barbecue in the manor's backyard, and the meat they were roasting was none other than the City Lord, the Scarlet Demon Sage. The Scarlet Demon Sage's true form was an ox. Indeed, the Scarlet Demon City was the Ox Demon Clan's territory, so they were roasting an ox. It was too extravagant. They were roasting an ox the size of a small mountain, and it was already glistening with oil. The aroma of meat wafted out of the manor, stirring the appetite of the demons in the city. Senior brother, is it cooked? Yarrow Yu cut off a small piece of beef from the roasting rack and started eating. This demon ox was a demon sage, and a holy sovereign at that. Ordinary flames wouldn't be able to roast it, but the divine flame released by Gu Fei's incarnation was just enough to roast it. Your mouth is dripping with oil, and you're still asking me if it's cooked. Crimson Dragon was speechless. He also cut off the meat and started eating. The roasted demon ox meat was really good. It melted in their mouths, and it was the best thing they had eaten in recent years. When an ancient demon venerable outside the city saw the scene in the backyard of the City Lord's mansion, he almost went crazy. This was because this ancient demon venerable was from the Ox Demon clan. The other two ancient demon sovereigns outside the city were also dumbfounded. These humans were too arrogant. They actually dared to roast a demon sage of the Ox Demon clan. This time, the old ox was going to go crazy. All of you, go to hell. The ancient demon venerable of the Ox Demon clan roared and slapped at the backyard of the City Lord mansion. Rumble, the huge demonic hand instantly covered the entire sky, and the whole world suddenly darkened, as if the night had suddenly descended. A terrifying demonic aura burst out from the devilish hand, causing all the devilish beings within a radius of 100,000 miles to be terrified to the extreme. Among the devils in the Scarlet Heaven Devil City, those with weak cultivation directly exploded and died, and those with high cultivation also lost half of their lives. The ancient demon sovereign of the Ox Demon clan didn't care about the demons in the city at all. He was a high and mighty ancient demon sovereign, and he never cared about the lives of ordinary demons. Boom! The entire world seemed like it was going to collapse. The demon hand that was falling from the sky suddenly stopped above the manor, as if it had encountered an invisible force. Haha, do you guys want to come in and eat meat too? Crimson Dragon laughed. Eat your head. The ancient devil reverend of the Ox Devil clan was furious. He struck out with his palm once again. However, just like before, his destructive demonic palm was blocked once again. Ignore these guys. Let's eat and drink first. Everyone crowded around the grill and ate the demon beef on the grill while drinking the immortal brew. This was simply an enjoyment of the highest quality. Ming Lai was afraid of offending the Ox Demon clan at first, so he didn't eat. But soon, this guy couldn't help but join in on the buffalo eating team. A big bowl of wine and a big piece of meat. That was awesome. Haha, I heard that others often eat chicken, but we eat cows. Ming Lai laughed. At this time, the ancient demon sovereign of the Ox Demon clan outside the city was infuriated by Crimson Dragon and the others. You bastards, I'm going to eat you alive. Chapter 4693. Within the Scarlet Demon City, Yarrow Yu, Red Dragon, and the others had roasted and eaten the city lord of the Ox Demon tribe. That was just too cruel. This infuriated the ancient demon sovereign of the Ox Demon clan. Moo. The ancient demon lord outside the city let out a furious roar and turned into his true form. He turned into a gigantic ox and rammed into the domain outside the city. Everyone was dumbfounded at the sight of this. Rumble, the entire Scarlet Demon City shook. The countless demons in the city were scared out of their wits. This fella, Gu Fei's clone, was speechless as well. The ancient demon lord of the Ox Demon tribe outside the city unleashed a powerful force. Ming Lai, why don't you go and meet this fella? Gu Fei's clone said. Master, please don't. I'm not his match. Ming Lai shook his head immediately. His true self was not here, and he was not the real extreme demon lord. If he were to go out, he might not even be able to withstand a single punch from his opponent. Sigh, I have to go out again. Gu Fei's clone was getting impatient. You three demon brats, go back to where you came from if you don't want to die. Gu Fei's clone flew up into the sky and roared at the three ancient demon lords outside. The countless demons in the city were dumbfounded at the sight. Is this human out of his mind? How dare he act so presumptuously in front of an ancient demon lord? This was an ancient demon lord that had lived for countless years. He was not someone that an ordinary extreme demon lord could compare to. Outrageous. Human brat, do you dare to come out and fight me? The ancient demon lord of the Ox Demon tribe was enraged. An endless amount of demonic aura burst out from the ancient demons. Within the demonic aura, there seemed to be demonic shadows appearing one after another. It was extremely terrifying. That's right. What's the big deal about hiding inside? Another ancient demon lord said. All right. As you wish. Gu Fei's incarnation took a step in the void and appeared outside the city in an instant. Haha, you really dared to come out. Go to hell. The ancient demon sovereign of the Ox Devil clan laughed. The two horns on his head flew up and turned into two demonic blades that spun and slashed at Gu Fei's clone. At this time, Yarrow Yu, the Red Dragon, and the unold demon child couldn't care less about the roasted demonic ox meat. They were all nervously watching the battle outside. Wherever the two demonic blades slashed towards Gu Fei's incarnation passed, the void was directly sliced apart, leaving behind pitch-black spatial cracks. Gu Fei's avatar sneered. He stretched out his hands and grabbed the two demon blades that were flying towards him. What? The ancient demon sovereign of the Ox-Devil clan couldn't help but be shocked. His two horns were refined into a great killing weapon. Even an extreme grade supreme wouldn't be able to withstand an attack from the two demon blades. However, this human extreme grade supreme grabbed his demon blades with his bare hands. This made the ancient demon sovereign of the Ox-Devil clan's expression change. "Here you go," Gu Fei's incarnation shouted. In the next moment, the two demon blades in his hand slashed towards the ancient demon sovereign of the Ox-Devil clan. How is this possible? This time, the ancient demon sovereign of the Ox-Devil clan was truly frightened. He hurriedly retreated. Two demonic blades soared into the sky, slicing through the ground and destroying the void. Their might was so great that it was terrifying. "Old Ox, let me help you." One of the ancient demon sovereigns roared and rushed towards Gu Fei's incarnation. He punched out, and endless demonic energy turned into a demonic dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws at Gu Fei's incarnation. 5 elemental fists. Gu Fei's incarnation directly punched out with the 5 elemental fist. The 5 elemental chi surged and his fist collided with the incoming demonic dragon. The demonic dragon, formed from demonic energy, directly collapsed in the void. Gu Fei's incarnation was extremely powerful and directly attacked the ancient demon sovereign. This ancient demon sovereign was an ancient demon sovereign of the Demon Dragon clan, one of the ancient ancestors of the Demon Dragon clan. Seeing Gu Fei's incarnation charging towards him, the ancient demon dragon ancestor's scalp went numb. "This guy is extremely powerful and I'm definitely not his match." Fortunately, the third ancient demon sovereign made his move at this moment. Swoosh! A huge demonic fire net descended from the sky and directly enveloped Gu Fei's incarnation. Gu Fei's incarnation was directly engulfed by the demonic fire net. Master, the unaging demon child, Yarrow Yu, and the others in the Scarlet Heaven Devil City were astonished to see this scene. "Haha, I thought this guy was powerful, but it turns out he's all bark and no bite." The fire demon sovereign laughed and walked over. "Old fire, you're the best." The demon dragon ancestor laughed. "I didn't expect you to bring the demonic fire net here." The bull demon sovereign also walked over. At that moment, Gu Fei's clone was rampaging through the demonic fire net, trying to break through it. However, he was unable to do so. "Human brat, die." The fire demon sovereign was about to refine Gu Fei's incarnation inside the fire net. The demonic fire net suddenly erupted with dazzling demonic flames, causing the void to distort and be annihilated. The entire net seemed to have turned into a furnace. "Haha, what a joke. You 3 demon brats want to kill me? Dream on." Gu Fei's clone laughed heartily. The 3 devilish ancestors couldn't help but be moved. The human sovereign was sitting cross-legged in the void, shrouded in a layer of divine light. He was completely unharmed. "Damn it, old bull, old dragon, let's work together. I don't believe we can't kill this guy." The fire demon sovereign was enraged. "All right." The 2 ancient ancestors nodded. Then, the 3 great ancient ancestors sat cross-legged in front of the fire demon king. At the same time, they operated their demonic arts and activated the devil fire net, intending to refine Gu Fei's incarnation into ashes. "You demon brats are too despicable." Gu Fei's incarnation roared. At this time, the 3 ancient demons exerted their full strength. The divine light around Gu Fei's incarnation gradually dimmed. "Haha, put in more effort, this guy can't hold on." The fire demon sovereign laughed. "Then let's go all out." The 2 ancient ancestors gritted their teeth and didn't hesitate to consume their origin energy to activate the fire net. The fire demon sovereign also used his origin energy. The 3 ancient ancestors poured their origin energy into the demonic fire net. In the next moment, the entire demonic fire net emitted countless ancient demonic patterns. The void enveloped by the demonic fire net was directly refined into nothingness. Gu Fei's incarnation was struggling to hold on. "Brat, you're dead for sure." The fire demon sovereign roared. At this time, The demonic fire that erupted from the fire net burned the entire sky red. Master, Master, what should we do? Chapter 4694. The three demons' ancient ancestors attacked together. They wanted to use the power of the three demons to refine Gu Fei's incarnation trapped in the demonic fire net to death. The demonic fire net was vast and mighty. Ancient demonic patterns rushed out of the net and turned into terrifying demonic fire. The demonic fire was so powerful that it directly burned the void. Ordinary supreme venerables would be reduced to ashes if they were burned by the demonic fire. Their bodies and souls would be destroyed. However, Gu Fei's incarnation, who was trapped in the demonic fire net, used a divine light to protect its body. It blocked the surrounding demonic fire and did not let it get close to its body. However, the layer of divine light around its body gradually dimmed. This made Yarrow Yu, Red Dragon, and the others nervous. Once Gu Fei's incarnation was refined by the three demons' ancient ancestors, they would also suffer. In the nether demon world, the human race and the demons were irreconcilable. When the demons encountered the human race, they would either capture or kill them. The human race had no status in the nether demon world. Countless demons in the Scarlet Demon City had their eyes on Yarrow Yu and the others. The entire Scarlet Demon City was enveloped by Gu Fei's incarnation's mountain and river diagram. The mountain and river diagram was an extreme-grade treasure. Even the ancient ancestors of the demons could not break it. As for the mountain and river diagram, Gu Fei's incarnation gave it to the unaging demon child and heavenly emperor Ziyang. Ming Lai did not dare to be presumptuous. He, human race's little guy, die. The demon ox clan's ancient ancestor sneered. At this time, the layer of divine light around Gu Fei's incarnation had become extremely dim. It seemed like it would dissipate at any time. Once it lost the protection of the divine light, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, Gu Fei's incarnation was still sitting quietly in the void without a trace of panic. This little guy's temperament is not bad. The Demon Dragon clan's ancient ancestor could not help but praise. Not everyone could have this kind of calmness even if a demon mountain collapsed in front of them. So what if his temperament is not bad? Won't he still die? The ancient ancestor of the fire demon race sneered. Haha, not bad. Killing human geniuses is my specialty. The demonic bull clan's ancient ancestor laughed. Really? At this moment, Gu Fei's incarnation, who was trapped in the demonic fire net, suddenly raised its head and said, The three great demons' ancient ancestors were shocked to see this. Let's work harder to refine him. The demonic bull race's ancient ancestor roared. The three ancient demons immediately poured their life source demon essence into the demonic flame net, causing the demonic flame net to erupt with an unprecedentedly powerful energy fluctuation. Alright, I won't play with you guys anymore. As Gu Fei's clone spoke, his body trembled. In the next moment, the layer of dim protective divine light around him immediately dissipated in the void. His body actually came into direct contact with the terrifying and boundless demonic flames. However, what shocked the three ancient ancestors was that although Gu Fei's incarnation was shrouded in demonic flames, the flames couldn't hurt him at all. How is this possible? The three ancient demons' ancient ancestors were shocked to the extreme. However, an even more shocking scene occurred. They saw Gu Fei's incarnation suddenly disappear. In the next moment, a huge pitch-black vortex appeared where he was. That pitch-black vortex crazily devoured everything around it. The three ancient demons' ancient ancestors' power source was immediately sucked in. What? The three ancient demons' ancient ancestors wanted to retract their power source, but it was already too late. Haha, Gu Fei's incarnation laughed loudly. The three ancient demons' ancient ancestors couldn't hold on much longer. That was the power of demon essence. Every bit of it was gone, it wouldn't be easy to recover. Moreover, it wasn't as simple as consuming demon essence. The demonic bull race's ancient ancestors' figure gradually became thin. In less than half an hour, this guy was only skin and bones. The same was true for the other two ancient demons' ancient ancestors. Their demon essence was rapidly draining away. If this goes on, They can only wait for death. However, no matter how hard they struggled, they couldn't break free. They were passively providing power to Gu Fei's incarnation. This, seeing the sudden reversal of the situation, Yarrow Yu, Crimson Dragon, and the others in Scarlet Heaven Demon City were both surprised and happy. Master really knows how to play. Crimson Dragon laughed. Soon, the demon essence chi in the three ancient demons' ancient ancestors was completely devoured by Gu Fei's incarnation. The fiery net has long been dim. Li Kuang reached out and touched it lightly. The fiery net instantly turned into dust and dissipated in the void. I'm not willing. The demonic bull race's ancient ancestor wailed miserably and turned into ashes. The other two ancient demons' ancient ancestors also had the same fate. The fall of the three ancient demons' ancient ancestors shook the world. The experts among the demons were even more shocked. How could a mere human be so powerful? Those were the ancient demons' ancient ancestors. At this time, when the news reached Panwu Domain, everyone was in disbelief. Another extreme Dao sovereign appeared in the human race? One must know that the human race of the Nether Devil world had gathered in Panwu Domain. This Panwu Domain was the last paradise of the human race. How could there still be humans in the outside world? Soon, the Panwu Domain's human race sent two emissaries to contact Gu Fei's incarnation. Go and invite the Grand Mist Archdevil ancestor. A demon expert roared. That's right, the Grand Mist demons are the strongest demons in our Nether Devil world, someone said. However, no one knew where the Grand Mist Archdevil ancestor was. Even the Grand Mist demons didn't know where they were. In the entire Nether Devil world, the most mysterious and unpredictable demon Dao forces were the Grand Mist demons. At this time, Gu Fei's incarnation didn't care so much and directly stayed in Scarlet Cloud Demonic City. All the demons in the city didn't dare to let out a fart. One must know that this fellow was extremely ferocious. Even the three ancient demons' ancient ancestors died in this fellow's hand. Moreover, a large number of demons directly fled Scarlet Cloud Demonic City. Master, there is a human race emissary from Panwu Domain outside who wants to see you. On this day, early in the morning, Red Dragon came to the courtyard where Gu Fei's incarnation was. Oh, invite him in quickly. Gu Fei's incarnation hurriedly said. Yes, Master. Red Dragon hurriedly turned and walked out. Soon, he walked in with two people. Quasi-Supreme? It seems that the human race in Panwu Domain isn't very weak. Gu Fei's clone was able to see through the cultivation of the two with a single glance. The fact that the two of them actually had the cultivation of a quasi-sovereign surprised him. Greetings to our race's supreme. As soon as the two people saw Gu Fei's incarnation, they immediately knelt to him with incomparably respectful expressions. Chapter 4695. Gu Fei's clone was overjoyed at the arrival of the Panwu region's emissaries. He took the opportunity to understand the current situation of the human race in the Panwu region. When he learned from the two emissaries that the human race in the Panwu region was in a precarious situation, he couldn't help but be shocked. The power of the Panwu region's domain is weakening. Gu Fei's clone couldn't help but frown. The domain set up by an extreme Dao supremacy was an extreme Dao nomological law. The extreme Dao nomological law was almost immortal, and the power of such a domain wouldn't weaken easily. However, once the Panwu domain's domain power started to weaken, there would really be a problem with the Panwu domain's domain power. This was no small matter. 3 days later, Gu Fei's clone would visit the human race in the Panwu region. The two emissaries returned to the Panwu region in satisfaction. If they could invite the current supremacy of the human race back to the Panwu region, perhaps the problems in the Panwu region could be solved. Scarlet Cloud Devil City, City Lord Residence. Master, why don't you go to the Panwu region immediately? Yarrow Yu was puzzled. I'm waiting. Gu Fei's clone said. Waiting? Yarrow Yu was even more puzzled. Master, are you waiting for the demons? The unold demon child smiled. Yes, you guys are really far-sighted. You have to learn more from them. Gu Fei's clone nodded. Yes, Master. Yarrow Yu nodded. Ji Fei's clone was waiting. He wasn't going to the Panwu region because he was waiting for the truly powerful fellows from the Netherworld Devil World to come. He had killed the 3 ancient ancestors of the demons, so those demons wouldn't sit still. Netherworld Devil World, the holy land of the demons, Hongmeng Demon Mountain. This Devil Mountain had existed since the beginning of time. At the peak of the Devil Mountain, there was a Devil Hall. This was none other than the Grand Mist Devil Hall. Hongmeng Demon Hall was the sacred temple of the demons. All the demons took pride in being able to climb Hongmeng Demon Mountain. At this time, an uninvited guest appeared in front of Hongmeng Demon Hall. An extreme Tao supremacy appeared in the human race? An old voice rang out from the primordial Chaos Devil Hall. How is this possible? Another equally aged voice sounded. Are you going, or should I go? Of course you'll go. TSK, I'll go then. The voices of the 2 mysterious demons in the Hongmeng Devil Hall no longer rang out. The Devil Dao Extreme Sovereign who was standing respectfully in front of the Hongmeng Devil Hall didn't leave. After some time, the tightly shut doors of the primordial Chaos Devil Hall slowly opened. A figure walked out from the opened doors and left the primordial Chaos Devil Mountain with the people outside. The other experts of the Devil race also jumped out. Outside Scarlet Cloud Devil City, there were many important people. However, everyone was watching, and no one dared to make a move. One had to know that the guy in Scarlet Cloud Demon City was a ruthless person who even killed the 3 ancient ancestors of the demons. Early the next morning, a terrifying demonic aura suddenly descended upon the martial Cloud City. Countless demons in the city were shocked to the extreme. He's finally here. In the Scarlet Cloud Devil City, Ji Fei's clone, who was sitting cross-legged in a quiet room, opened his eyes abruptly. It was as though 2 streaks of lightning flashed in the quiet room. Sovereign of the human race, come out and accept your death. The aged voice spread throughout the entire Scarlet Cloud Devil City. With the Scarlet Cloud Devil City as the center, countless demons within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles heard this voice. Countless demons were terrified to the extreme. Boom! Ji Fei's incarnation smashed through the quiet room and soared into the sky, arriving high up in the sky. Sovereign of the human race, you have guts. The aged voice sounded again. Then, a demonic figure appeared in front of Ji Fei's clone. Huh! When Ji Fei's clone saw this old man, his eyes couldn't help but narrow. There was actually primordial chaos chi swirling around the body of this extreme demon. It seemed like this demon was from the primordial demons, the strongest demons in the Netherworld demon world. Accept your death. The primordial demon ancestor made his move. With a wave of his hand, a demonic dragon soared out and lunged at Ji Fei's clone. There were no unnecessary words. The demons and the human race were archenemies. Ji Fei's clone sneered. He didn't move at all. With a wave of his hand, a ball of 5 elemental chi rushed towards the primordial demon ancestor, meeting the demonic dragon that was lunging at him. Within the demonic chi, a powerful fluctuation was emitted. Vaguely, one could see a fist-sized, dragon-shaped demonic stone smashing into the ball of 5 elemental chi that Ji Fei's clone had shot out. Pang! That demonic stone actually broke through the 5 elemental chi that Ji Fei's clone had shot out. That ball of 5 elemental chi exploded and dissipated in the void. Moreover, that dragon-shaped demonic stone did not stop. After breaking through the 5 elemental chi of Ji Fei's clone, it continued smashing towards Ji Fei's clone. This, Ji Fei's clone was taken aback. The fist-sized, dragon-shaped demonic stone seemed to possess an indestructible power. After destroying the 5 elemental chi, it was still like a primordial demonic mountain, emitting endless demonic energy as it flew towards him. He felt danger. Without any hesitation, he turned into an afterimage and retreated rapidly. At this time, a ball of demonic fire descended from the sky and smashed towards the Scarlet Cloud Demon City. Boom! With a loud bang, the Scarlet Cloud Demon City's City Lord Manor directly exploded. That was close. Yarrow Yu and the others were in a sorry state. They had escaped from the City Lord Manor in time. Otherwise, if they were hit by that demonic fire, they would have been crippled even if they didn't die. The terrifying power shook the heavens and earth. Dust rose high into the sky. The incomparably hard bricks melted like snow, turning into dust and drifting in the void. The vast and mighty energy directly destroyed everything within a radius of several kilometers. It was as terrifying as the end of the world. The devils near the city lord's mansion cried out in alarm and scattered in all directions to avoid the broken bricks and tiles that flew out. Those unlucky demons could not dodge in time and were pierced by the flying bricks and tiles. They died on the spot. Primordial Mongolian demon ancestor, you. Some of the extreme demon ancestors near the Scarlet Cloud Demon City were displeased when they saw this. This guy did not have any scruples when dealing with the humans. The Scarlet Cloud Demon City was considered a big city. Wouldn't it be a pity if it was destroyed? To the demon ancestor, the countless demons in the city were resources. Anyone would feel heartache if they were destroyed just like that. One should know that the previous city lord of the Scarlet Cloud Demon City was an extreme demon ancestor. Under the management of this demon ancestor, the cultivation resources accumulated in the Scarlet Cloud Demon City were quite good. Some of the extreme demon ancestors had their eyes on the demon city and wanted to take it for themselves. No one wanted to occupy a city that had already been destroyed. Chapter 4696. In the sky above the Scarlet Cloud Demonic City, Gu Fei's clone and the primordial Mongolian demons were locked in a fierce battle. Terrifying shockwaves spread in all directions. The entire world was shaking, and the sky looked like it was about to collapse. It was as if the entire world was going to be destroyed. Moreover, the extreme demon ancestors who were watching from the sidelines were very displeased. The primordial Mongolian demon ancestor did not care about the lives of the other demons at all. He did not hold back when he attacked. Just a casual attack almost destroyed the entire Scarlet Cloud Demonic City. Gu Fei's avatar naturally had no scruples at all. He was not someone from the nether demon world to begin with, so he had no feelings for this world at all. Rumble. The void suddenly shook violently. The dragon-shaped demonic stone in the primordial Mongolian demon ancestor's hand turned into a huge dragon. It was a ferocious and terrifying black demonic dragon. A terrifying demonic aura erupted from the demonic dragon, causing pitch-black spatial cracks to appear one after another in the sky. It was as if the world could not contain this demonic dragon. Endless demonic fire erupted from the demonic dragon and burned the void. Gu Fei's clone's vision was extraordinary. He could tell that this demonic dragon was not ordinary at a glance. Innate primordial chi, the dragon-shaped demonic stone, and it was a demonic dragon that was still evolving and transforming. It was a demonic dragon that was born from the chaos. The primordial chaos demonic dragon was the ancestor of all demonic dragons. This dragon-shaped demonic stone was the first demonic dragon in the Devil Nether world. It was also the only pure-blooded demonic dragon. The other demonic dragons were born from postnatal life forms that were contaminated with the aura of the primordial chaos demonic dragon. There was only one pure-blooded primordial chaos demonic dragon. You're quite a heroic fellow. Gu Fei's clone laughed as he attacked. 9 rays of sword light danced around Gu Fei's clone. Each ray of sword light emitted a shocking killing intent, causing the temperature of the surroundings to drop rapidly under the impact of the sword chi. What is the meaning of this? The primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor rode on the devil dragon and fought against the 9 sword lights. The devil dragon was extremely powerful, slapping away 3 sword lights with a swipe of its claw and sweeping away another 2 sword lights with a sweep of its tail. The 9 sword lights, which were powerful enough to kill an extreme Dao demon venerate, couldn't even slice off a single scale when they struck the demon dragon. Ha ha! You even used the primordial demonic dragon as a weapon. If you don't feel heroic, then who? What a heroic spirit! Gu Fei's incarnation laughed. It's just a demonic dragon that failed to transform. The Grand Mongolian Archdevil Lord sneered. In his opinion, any life form born from the primordial chaos would be a failure if it could not evolve completely. The dragon-shaped devil stone in his hand was a failure. What? A creature that failed to transform? Gu Fei's incarnation almost burst out laughing when he heard that. Failure to complete the transformation and failure to complete the transformation were two completely different things. How could a being born from the primordial chaos be judged to have lost the final chance to complete the transformation just because of this? Die, little fella. The Grand Mongolian Archdevil Lord could not be bothered to waste his breath on Gu Fei's incarnation. He drove the demon dragon to deflect the 9 sword lights and pounced on Gu Fei's incarnation. Roar. The demon dragon's roar shook heaven and earth. A pair of sharp claws swiped at Gu Fei's incarnation. The void was torn apart, and lines of demonic runes could be vaguely seen on the dragon's claws. This was the primordial chaos demon dragon's attack. The dragon's claws shattered the void. Gu Fei's incarnation looked tiny in comparison to the gigantic dragon's claws. However, Gu Fei's incarnation's body swayed and instantly became gigantic. He grabbed the demon dragon's claws with both hands and swung the demon dragon around. Boom! Gu Fei's incarnation smashed the demonic dragon onto the ground. The entire Scarlet Cloud demonic city was smashed by the demonic dragon. Half of the city was completely destroyed and countless demons were turned into blood mist. These lunatics. The extreme Dao demon ancestors who were watching from the sidelines felt their hearts ache. The Scarlet Cloud demonic city was not a small city. It would be a pity if it was destroyed just like that. At least it could be sold for a good price. The resources in the demonic netherworld were limited. There were many extreme Dao demon ancestors in the demonic netherworld. When these extreme Dao demon ancestors cultivated, they needed to consume a terrifying amount of resources. Fighting for cultivation resources was something that every world and every great heaven and earth could not avoid. There were not many resources in the demonic netherworld anymore. Some extreme Dao demon ancestors did not dare to cultivate anymore. It was a very depressing thing to stop cultivating. Many extreme Dao demon ancestors had their eyes on the Panwu region because of the large amount of cultivation resources there. Roar. The horrifying demon dragon roared at Gu Fei's incarnation in the sky. The horrifying sound wave spread out, and the entire region shook. The ground undulated like a wave. The Scarlet Cloud demonic city, which was already half destroyed, was turned into dust by the demon dragon's roar. Countless demons were unlucky again, and they received their bento boxes. Sigh, this bento box was really undeserved. Countless living beings perished, but the essence chi did not dissipate. The demon dragon opened its mouth, and the essence chi of countless demons gathered crazily and was swallowed. The demon dragon, who had swallowed the endless essence chi, became stronger again. The demon dragon was about to soar into the sky, but at that moment, Gu Fei's incarnation rushed into the sky and rode on the giant dragon. Then, he raised his fist and punched the giant dragon's head. Bam! With just one punch, Gu Fei's incarnation smashed the giant dragon's head into the ground. One of the giant dragon's horns broke, and the demon dragon's blood splattered. Bam! The second punch broke the demon dragon's second horn, and the entire giant dragon's head was deformed. A dragon soul wanted to rush out, but it was trapped by a force. This was the reason why the demonic dragon could not continue to transform. It was because someone, no, it should be a demon, had suppressed the dragon soul, turning it into a demonic weapon that had lost its sense of self. The primordial Mongolian archdevil ancestor was incomparably shocked. He hurriedly rushed down from the sky, and balls of demon fire rained down on Gu Fei's incarnation. He didn't care about the demon dragon's life or death. Because he knew that even if he went all out, he wouldn't be able to hurt the demon dragon. As long as the dragon-shaped demon stone existed, the demon dragon would continue to exist. However, in the next moment, 9 sword lights rushed out from Gu Fei's incarnation. The 9 sword lights soared into the sky, forming a sword net above Gu Fei's incarnation, blocking all the demon fire. The primordial Mongolian archdevil ancestor was shocked. Why was this sword net so strong? Could it be that this human didn't use his true strength? How could this human be so strong? He seemed to be even stronger and more terrifying than that Panwu from countless years ago. Where did this human come from? Panwu domain? It was impossible. Panwu domain couldn't possibly give birth to such a powerful supreme being. Chapter 4697. In the Scarlet Cloud demonic city, Gu Fei's incarnation and the primordial Mongol archfiend were locked in a fierce battle. Violent energy fluctuations rippled out in all directions, and the heaven and earth spiritual energy was in chaos. This caused the spectators to be inexplicably shocked. That was one of the primordial Mongol demons. The primordial Mongol demons had always been the strongest demons in the netherworld demonic world, standing above all other demons. The price one had to pay to invite the primordial Mongol archfiend to help was definitely not small. At this time, Gu Fei's incarnation's strength reached its peak. He rode on top of the primordial demon dragon's body and swung his fists at it. Damn it! The primordial Mongol archfiend attacked Gu Fei's incarnation with all his might. However, 9 sword rays shot out from Gu Fei's incarnation's body, forming a sword net that blocked all of the primordial Mongol archfiend's attacks. The great demons who were watching the battle nearby were stunned when they saw this scene. Since when did the primordial Mongol archfiend become so weak? The spectators couldn't believe their eyes. In truth, it wasn't that the primordial Mongol archfiend had become weak, but his opponent was too strong. Boom! At this time, a loud explosion resounded. The primordial demon dragon was blasted apart by Gu Fei's incarnation, and the entire area crumbled. The earth sank several jong from Gu Fei's incarnation's punch. Roar! In the next moment, an earth-shattering dragon roar resounded, and the shadow of a giant dragon soared into the sky. Dragon Soul, the primordial Mongol archfiend, was shocked when he saw the shadow of the dragon. This human actually broke the restriction he placed on the dragon-shaped demonic stone and released the Dragon Soul. The primordial Mongol archfiend sneered and reached out to grab the primordial demon dragon's soul. As long as the Dragon Soul wasn't destroyed, he would be able to refine another supreme demonic artifact. However, with a flash of sword light, 9 streaks of sword light were already flying towards the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor. Each sword light tore through the void, leaving behind pitch-black spatial cracks wherever they passed. Preposterous! The primordial demon ancestor was shocked and angered at the same time. Never in his wildest dreams did he expect this human to be so difficult to deal with. Mad Dragon Chaos the world! The primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor roared in anger. In the next moment, a terrifying demonic energy erupted from his body, and the shadows of countless dragons appeared between heaven and earth. Even the 9 immortal sword lights were scattered by these dragon shadows. The Grand Mongolian Archdevil Lord took this chance to take the dragon soul away. However, at this moment, a fist rapidly enlarged in his eyes. Bam! A dull thud resounded through the air, and the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor felt a sharp pain in his nose, and he heard the sound of bones breaking. His vision darkened, and he almost fainted. He was punched in the face, and his nose was broken. The primordial Mongol archdevil lord was enraged. But his vision darkened, and his right eye was punched. Soon, his left eye was punched as well. At this time, Gu Fei's incarnation sent a flying kick at the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor, sending him crashing into a devil mountain. There were many great devils watching the show from the top of the mountain. These great devils were unlucky, and they couldn't dodge in time. They were instantly turned into blood mist, and their bodies and souls were destroyed. Can't even withstand a single blow. Gu Fei's incarnation came and went like a phantom. This punch and that kick left the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor in a miserable state, and it was unknown how many times his bones were broken or burned. Against the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor, Gu Fei's incarnation wouldn't show any mercy. He was ruthlessly torturing the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor, and he was ruthlessly torturing him to death. Extreme breaking fists. Gu Fei's incarnation punched out, and the heaven and earth spiritual energy in the area was drawn out. Bam! With a force that could break through a formation, the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor exploded. How is this possible, seeing Gu Fei's incarnation destroying the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor with a single punch? The spectating great devils were dumbfounded. That was the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor, yet his devil body was destroyed by someone? Although Ji Yufei's incarnation destroyed his devil body with a single punch, he wasn't able to kill the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor. At this time, the dragon soul was crazily devouring the heaven and earth spiritual energy, and it was actually reforming the devil dragon's true body. The primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor instantly reformed his devil body, and he charged towards Ji Yufei's incarnation like a madman. Peng! Peng! Boom! Two figures moved rapidly in the sky like two bolts of lightning, clashing and clashing. The two of them didn't use any innate techniques, and it was purely a clash of brute force. Ji Yufei's incarnation and the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor started fighting. Roar! Roar! Ji Yufei's incarnation and the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor roared at the same time. Ji Yufei's incarnation's fist landed on the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor's shoulder, while the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor's palm landed on Ji Yufei's incarnation's lower abdomen. However, Ji Yufei's incarnation's fist landed squarely on the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor's palm. Strike was met by Ji Yufei's incarnation's knee. Peng! Peng! The sound of fist and flesh colliding, as well as the explosive sound of the knee and palm colliding, rang out almost at the same time. Two figures were sent flying in the sky. Ji Yufei's incarnation landed on the ground, and his cold gaze pierced through the thick devil qi, landing on the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor who was sent flying. The primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor was sent flying thousands of li away by a single punch from Ji Yufei's incarnation. He only managed to stop after crashing through half of the Devil Mountain. Both of their cultivations were equally strong, and they could exchange blows in the sky for a short period of time. However, it was clear that the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor was no match for Ji Yufei's incarnation in a physical battle. Damn it, I made a wrong judgment. The primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor felt that something was amiss. This fella's cultivation was definitely higher than his. Ending the battle quickly, Ji Yufei's incarnation stomped on the ground, causing the ground beneath his feet to explode as he charged at the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor. Amidst the rumbling devil qi, a pitch-black foot stomped down on the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor. A terrifying force field sealed the space beneath the foot, and as the foot landed, the void beneath the foot trembled. Damn it! Boundless pressure descended from the sky, acting on the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor's body. Parlai. The ground beneath his feet exploded, and the foot above his head was like a primordial devil mountain crushing down on him. At this time, the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor could no longer maintain his composure. Roar. The primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor roared at the sky. His eldest son was incomparably ferocious, and his eyes turned pitch black in an instant, emitting two rays of black light that caused one's heart to palpitate. A monstrous evil aura burst out from the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor's body as if a great devil had awakened within him. Chapter 4698. After all, the primordial Mongolian demon ancestor was a supreme demon ancestor born from the primordial chaos. How could he be defeated by Ji Yufei's clone so easily? However, the primordial Mongolian demon ancestor had no choice but to use his true strength and stop holding back. One must know that the might of Ji Yufei's clone stomp was too terrifying. When his foot landed, heaven and earth shook. The primordial Mongolian demon ancestor could already feel the power of the stomp before it landed on the ground. The boundless pressure from the stomp landed on the primordial Mongolian demon ancestor's body, causing the ground beneath his feet to crack. You forced me to do this. The primordial Mongolian demon ancestor roared at the sky. In the next moment, an extremely terrifying demonic aura erupted from his body. An unprecedented demonic power erupted from his body. In the next moment, sharp bone spikes pierced through the primordial Mongolian demon ancestor's back, and black scales appeared on his body. Then, under the horrified gazes of the supreme demon ancestors, the unaging demon child, and the rest, a terrifying and hideous demon appeared in front of them. The primordial Mongolian demon ancestor had shown himself. It was a creature with countless bone spikes on its back. It looked like a dragon, but it also looked like a crocodile at the same time. Even Ji Yufei's clone had never seen such a hideous demons. The demons had a bloody mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. It would be no laughing matter if one was bitten. The violent extreme Tao devil might spread out. Even the extreme Tao devil sovereigns who were watching from afar felt a great pressure. Many extreme Tao devil sovereigns immediately retreated. The unold demon child and the others watched the battle from afar under the protection of an ancient cauldron. In truth, if the unold demon child and the others hadn't taken away the ancient cauldron and used its power to protect themselves, the Scarlet Cloud demonic city would not have been destroyed. Of course, the destruction of the Scarlet Cloud demonic city and the lives of the demons had nothing to do with them. They didn't have a good impression of the demons to begin with. It should be known that in the Nether Devil world, besides the Panwu region, all the other humans had been killed by the demons. Boom. Gu Fei's incarnation couldn't care less. He stomped the primordial Mongol archdevil ancestor into the ground, raising a cloud of dust as a huge footprint appeared on the ground. This, the unold demon child, Yarrow Yu, and the others were all stunned. Master was too violent, too cruel. Roar. A muffled roar came from the ground, and in the next moment, the land within a radius of 10,000 miles suddenly exploded. Endless sand and dust rushed into the sky, and a monstrous demonic aura erupted, and a demonic figure rushed out from the ground. Ayo, not bad. Gu Fei's incarnation was a little surprised. Even my strength Vaja legs can't trample this fellow to death. Demonic creatures born from primordial chaos are really tough and can take a beating. I don't believe it. Watch my extreme breaking fist. Gu Fei's incarnation directly pounced. In the next moment, countless fist shadows landed on the demonic figure that rushed out of the ground. Dense sounds of impact rang out, and the demonic figure let out a shrill scream. Demon blood rained down from the sky. This was the extreme breaking fist. Gu Fei's incarnation had thrown out hundreds of punches at once, and his Yuan Qi was almost instantly exhausted. The consumption was too great. Each punch left a bloody hole on the ancient ancestor-level demon's body. The violent fist energy was enough to ignore all defenses and kill everything in its path. No matter how strong the ancient ancestor-level demons were, they couldn't withstand it. The results of Gu Fei's incarnation were shocking. A demons born from primordial chaos were blown up by him, and even their primordial spirits scattered in the void. Killing the primordial chaos demonic ancestor instantly shocked the extreme Tao demon venerables, and they immediately turned to flee. The extreme Tao demon venerables were on the verge of a mental breakdown. F***ck, even the primordial chaos demonic ancestor was blown up by this fellow. Why aren't they fleeing? Are they going to give up their heads? No, give up their heads. Sigh. Gu Fei's incarnation directly fell from the sky. He was really, really tired. 95% of his Yuan Qi had been used up. If an extreme Tao demon venerable attacked him at this time, he could only resign himself to his fate and wait for death. However, the extreme Tao demon venerables watching from the sidelines were stunned by him. They instantly fled, not even having the courage to look back. Master, Yarrow Yu and the others hurriedly rushed over. Red Dragon hugged Gu Fei's incarnation that was falling from the sky. Let's go to Panwu Domain. Gu Fei's incarnation said. He was currently very weak. Once those extreme Tao demon venerables reacted and turned back, they would be dead. Panwu Domain wasn't too far from Scarlet Cloud Demon City. In less than an hour, they arrived in the vicinity of Panwu Domain. Gu Fei's incarnation consumed a divine herb and recovered about 30% of his Yuan Qi. At that moment, everyone sensed a mighty righteous Qi surging over from ahead. This aura was Extreme Yang, the nemesis of demons. Gu Fei's incarnation and the others had yet to truly enter Panwu Domain, but they discovered that there wasn't a single demons living in the surrounding region. Instead, many living beings that weren't demons appeared. Panwu Domain was a forbidden land for demons. Weak demons couldn't withstand the mighty righteous Qi that surged out of Panwu Domain at all. If they forced their way in, they would be courting death. This is Panwu Domain. Gu Fei's incarnation didn't dare to be shocked when he sensed the mighty energy fluctuations between heaven and earth. He finally understood why demons dared not barge in. Panwu Domain actually had a consciousness of its own. A wisp of divine sense was attached to this part of the world. In other words, Panwu domain had left a wisp of divine sense that hadn't dissipated. This divine sense had long merged with Panwu domain. To a certain extent, the entire Panwu domain was a special life form. Soon, Gu phase group would truly enter Panwu domain. At that moment, a large group of people came out of Panwu domain to welcome them. Ha ha! Honored guests, your presence truly brings light to my humble dwelling. The leader of the group of people from Panwu domain laughed loudly. This person was the Panwu domain's human race leader. Gu phase incarnation and the others were directly invited into Panwu domain by the human race leader. The humans in Panwu domain didn't dare to be negligent. One had to know that Gu phase incarnation was a human venerate. He had even sensed a primordial Mongol demon ancestor earlier. The chance for the nether demon world's human race to make a comeback had arrived. Chapter 4699. The arrival of Gu phase clone greatly boosted the low morale of the human race in the Panwu region. This was someone who could kill the primordial Mongol demon ancestor. Even in an ancient era, when the human hero Panwu of the underworld demon world appeared and slaughtered everyone, killing extreme Mongol demon ancestors, he had never killed a primordial Mongol demon ancestor. It should be noted that the most powerful being in the underworld demon world was not the extreme Mongol demon ancestor, but the primordial Mongol demon ancestor. The primordial Mongol demons were the oldest demons in the underworld demon world. This race came from the primordial chaos, and they had ruled the Nether Devil realm for countless years. They were the absolute overlords of the Nether Devil realm, and since ancient times, no one had ever been able to shake this race's ruling position over the Nether Devil realm. The human race master of the Panwu region personally welcomed Gu phase clone into the Panwu region. Then, he held a banquet in the Panwu ancestral hall, inviting Gu phase clone and the others. Where did Sovereign come from? The human race patriarch asked Gu phase clone cautiously. Gu phase clone looked too young, and he was dressed in black. Achieving the Tao at such a young age would be incredible. The black-robed Gu phase smiled. We are not from this world. He did not hide it, and there was no need to. What? The human race master of the Panwu region was shocked. Although he had vaguely guessed it, he still could not hide his shock when he heard Gu phase words. Which world did Sovereign come from? The human race master asked excitedly. The Panwu region was in trouble, and the power of Panwu was constantly weakening. They could not stay in the underworld demon world any longer. Once the power of Panwu continued to weaken, the demons outside could attack. When that happened, the last of the human race in the underworld demon world would be destroyed, and the entire human race would be exterminated by the demons. Since these people could come to the underworld demon world from another world, they could return from there. If that was the case, the human race would not be exterminated if they begged him to bring all of them away from the underworld demon world. The human race master became even more excited. This was really a savior sent by the heavens. Roar. At that moment, a roar traveled into the Panwu region. It's that demon dragon. The unold demon child exclaimed in shock. A powerful demonic dragon's might came from outside, and all the humans in the Panwu domain were terrified to the extreme. Gu Fei muttered to himself for a moment, then waved his right hand. An ancient cauldron immediately flew out from his hand and rushed into the sky. A wave of power exploded from the ancient cauldron, instantly enveloping the entire Panwu region. In the next moment, the terrifying demonic might from the outside completely disappeared. All the humans in the Panwu domain heaved a sigh of relief. Jizun is mighty. The humans in the Panwu ancestor hall cheered as they collected their thoughts. Is that an extreme Tao ancestral artifact? The human clan leader, Pan Tianfang, raised his head to look at the ancient cauldron floating high in the sky. He couldn't help but be overjoyed. An extreme Tao ancestral artifact. This was a supreme Tao artifact that only Ancestor Pan Wu could forge back then. The humans in the Panwu domain all took Pan as their surname and recognized Panwu as their ancestor. Of course, Panwu wasn't the first human in the Nether Demon realm, but he was the one who had made great contributions to the humans in the Nether Demon realm. He was a great hero of the human race. If Panwu hadn't created the Panwu region with his life, the humans in the Nether Demon Realm would have been exterminated by the demons a long time ago. We're saved. Some humans roared at the sky and shed hot tears. It was too difficult for humans to survive in the Nether Demon Realm. For countless years, they could only hide in the Panwu region. As soon as they left the Panwu region, they would be killed by the demons. Now, they didn't have to live in frustration anymore. Ji-Zun, we're willing to serve you as our master. Please lead us and create glory for the human race. Pan Tianfang suddenly knelt in front of the black-robed Jiyu Fei and said excitedly. The black-robed Jiyu Fei was a little hesitant. After all, he was just a passerby in the Nether Demon Realm, and he would leave this world sooner or later. Hey, you guys are quite tactful, the immortal demon child said with a smile. From his point of view, these fellows were taking advantage of his master. His master was a supreme existence whose name shook the heavens. As long as the master agreed, the humans here wouldn't have to live such bitter lives anymore. Even chickens and dogs would rise to heaven. Master. Yarrow Yu looked at the black-robed Jiyu Fei. She hoped that her master could save these people. We're willing to serve you as our master. The people of the Panwu region suddenly had a flash of inspiration, and they all knelt in front of the black-robed Jiyu Fei. All right. The black-robed Jiyu Fei didn't argue anymore. He actually wanted to save the humans in the Nether Demon Realm, but the problem was, how was he going to save them? Should he clear the obstacles for the humans here and kill all the demons, or should he take them away? From the black-robed Jiyu Fei's point of view, the Nether Demon Realm was the true home of the humans here. If he took them away, there would definitely be many who would be reluctant. Lead them to conquer the Nether Demon Realm. He didn't have that much time to waste here. He could vaguely sense that his main body was about to enter the eternal world. He couldn't stay in the Nether Demon Realm for too long. Greetings, Clan Master. When the people of the Panwu region saw that the black-robed Jiyu Fei had agreed, they were both surprised and delighted. Under Pan Tianfang's lead, countless people knelt in front of the black-robed Jiyu Fei. I'm counting on you, fellow Daoist. At this moment, a divine will appeared, and a voice suddenly appeared in the minds of countless people. The black-robed Jiyu Fei suddenly looked up at the sky and saw a faint, illusory figure appear in the sky. Progenitor Panwu, it's Progenitor Panwu. Countless humans on the ground knelt in front of the figure in the sky again, extremely pious. He was Panwu, who had used his life to transform the world and a strand of his will to protect the human race for countless years. You're going to disappear. The black-robed Jiyu Fei said calmly. My mission is done if I can last until fellow Daoist arrives. The illusory figure released another wave of divine will. You want to disappear just like that? You want to leave your people to me? That won't do. The black-robed Jiyu Fei suddenly laughed. I'm just a strand of my will. Can fellow Daoist defy the heavens? The Panwu illusory figure said. How could a strand of will defy the heavens and be reborn? Wasn't that a joke? Even an extreme Dao supremacy wouldn't be able to do that. Defy the heavens? I defy the heavens all the time. The black-robed Jiyu Fei laughed even more happily. Just now, he didn't know what to do with these humans. Now that this guy was here, it would be a lot easier. I'll stabilize your strand of will first, then I'll think of a way to defy the heavens and be reborn. As the black-robed Jiyu Fei spoke, he took out a drop of immortal godly liquid and threw it to the illusory figure in the sky. As soon as the drop of immortal godly liquid appeared, the entire world was instantly filled with vitality. Everyone felt a vast and boundless aura of life appear in the world. This. Chapter 4700. The Panwu remnant consciousness was still present in the Panwu domain, but it was about to dissipate. This was the reason why the Panwu domain's power was constantly weakening. The Panwu remnant consciousness had protected the Panwu domain for countless years, but it was only a remnant consciousness and not a true extreme Tao Supreme. It was already a miracle that the Panwu remnant consciousness had lasted until now. However, the black-robed Jiyu Fei did not want to let the Tao Panwu remnant consciousness disappear just like that. Therefore, he took out a drop of the immortal divine liquid. This was not the divine liquid of the ancestral dragon medicine, but the divine liquid of the immortal golden Buddha tree that Jiyu Ling had gotten from the little monk Fan Xiu. Jiyu Fei only had one drop. The divine liquid of the immortal golden Buddha tree contained too much vitality. Although it was only a drop, it could nourish the entire Panwu domain. The Panwu remnant consciousness was extremely shocked to see this drop of immortal divine liquid. There was such an immortal divine medicine in the netherworld demon realm, but even he had never seen it before. This was because the immortal divine medicine had long gone extinct in the netherworld demon realm during his era. At that moment, the unold demon child and the others looked at the Panwu remnant consciousness in the sky enviously. That was the immortal divine liquid, something that even supremes would fight to the death to obtain. Fellow Daoist, are you really giving this drop of divine liquid to me? The Panwu remnant consciousness was pleasantly surprised. Of course, just take it. The black-clothed Jiyu Fei said indifferently. Thank you, fellow Daoist. The shadow formed by the Panwu remnant consciousness opened its mouth and inhaled, swallowing the drop of undying divine liquid of the undying golden Buddha tree in one gulp. In the next moment, the blurry shadow became clearer. The Panwu remnant consciousness had already merged with the Panwu domain. As the Panwu remnant consciousness became stronger, the power of the entire Panwu domain increased. The humans in the Panwu domain were all surprised and overjoyed when they sensed that the power of the Panwu domain was increasing. Nobody expected Jiyu Fei to solve the problem that had troubled them for more than a decade. The Panwu domain could continue to exist. Master. Pan Tianfang looked at Jiyu Fei in shock. How about this? You don't have to serve me as your master. Let Pan Wu lead you. Jiyu Fei said. This. Pan Tianfang was put in a difficult position. All right, there's no need to say any more. That's it. The black-robed Jiyu Fei said. Then, he soared into the sky and disappeared. Master, Yarrow Yu and the Crimson Dragon couldn't help but be shocked when they saw this. Master, the unold demon child and heavenly the Archzi Yang were also dumbfounded. All of you wait for me here. I'll be back in a few days if I'm fast, or half a month if I'm late. The black-clothed Jiyu Fei's voice came from the sky. Yes, Master. Yes, Master. The unold demonic child and the others were relieved. They also vaguely knew why Jiyu Fei in black had left. It wasn't difficult for Jiyu Fei to defy the heavens and be reborn. However, it would be difficult for a fellow who only had a remnant consciousness to be reborn. Even an extreme Tao supremacy might not be able to do it. Yarrow Yu and the others received the most distinguished treatment in the Panwu region. They ate divine beasts, drank immortal wine, and lived in the best courtyards. The Panwu region was huge. The residences of Yarrow Yu and the others were built on top of spirit veins. They were surrounded by spirit-gathering arrays that constantly gathered heaven and earth spiritual qi. Living here, even if one didn't deliberately cultivate, the speed at which one absorbed heaven and earth spiritual qi was much faster than in other places. This place was many times better than that godforsaken place in the primordial devil realm. It was rare for Yarrow Yu and the others to calm down and cultivate. At this time, at the peak of the primordial devil mountain in the nether devil realm, ancient figures were sitting cross-legged in the devil palace. These figures seemed to have existed since the beginning of time. Hong Xiao is dead. An old voice sounded. He's dead. What's there to be surprised about? Another figure said. Great ape, what are you saying? Hong Xiao is one of the 12 primordial ancestor fiends. Now that he's dead, we have to avenge him. A primordial ancestor fiend said angrily. TCH, if you want to avenge him, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. But Hong Yi, don't say that I didn't warn you. That person can kill Hong Xiao, and he can also kill you. The ape-like primordial ancestor fiend sneered. You cowardly rat. If you're afraid of death, hurry up and scram back to your ape nest. Don't come out and embarrass us primordial ancestor fiends. The primordial ancestor fiend called Hong Yi scolded Great Ape. What did you say? Do you want to die? The ape-like Great Ape ancestor fiend stood up and roared at Hong Yi. You're the one who wants to die. Hong Yi stood up as well and retorted. The relationship between the 12 primordial ancestor fiends had never been good. Hong Yi was on good terms with Hong Xiao, who had died in the hands of black-robed Ji Yufei. Now that Hong Xiao was dead, he naturally wanted to avenge him. However, Great Ape, Hong Yi, and Hong Xiao were sworn enemies. Enough! Just as the two primordial ancestor fiends were about to fight, an angry roar resounded, shaking the entire primordial devil palace. Bo! Boss! When Great Ape and Hong Yi saw an old man sitting cross-legged at the side, who had been silent all this time, fly into a rage, they immediately cowered. This old man was the boss of the 12 primordial ancestor fiends, Hong Long. He was also the strongest existence among the 12 primordial ancestor fiends. Both of you, sit down. Hong Long swept a glance at the two fellows. Hong Yi and Hong Xiao obediently sat down, not daring to even let out a fart. Among the 12 primordial ancestor fiends, only Hong Long could suppress these fellows. Boss, Hong Xiao is dead. Hong Yi looked at Hong Long cautiously. You can do whatever you want. Hong Long said indifferently. Haha, alright, I'll go meet the guy who killed Hong Xiao. Let's see if he really has 3 heads and 6 arms. Hong Yi laughed. Idiot. Great Ape raised his middle finger at Hong Yi. You, Hong Yi raged. The two primordial ancestor fiends were about to start fighting again. All of you, get lost. Don't disturb my peace. Hong Long waved his right hand, and a devilish light enveloped Hong Yi and Great Ape. In the next moment, the two fellows were sent flying out of the primordial devil palace. The other primordial ancestor fiends were still sitting in the hall, motionless, as though they hadn't seen what had just happened. At the primordial ancestor fiends' level of cultivation, they were indifferent to everything in the world. They couldn't be bothered to care about Hong Xiao's life or death. If he died, so be it. What did it have to do with them? As long as it doesn't affect me or threaten me, I don't care even if the heavens collapse outside. However, Hong Yi was on good terms with Hong Xiao, and he was the only one who wanted to avenge Hong Xiao. Chapter 4701. Hong Yi, one of the 12 Grand Mist Ancestor Devils, rushed to the outskirts of the Panwu city. He wanted to take revenge as soon as possible, so he charged straight to the Panwu city to settle the score with the person who killed Hong Xiao. However, when he arrived, he realized that the Panwu city was different. How is this possible? Hong Yi stood in the sky, staring at the hazy void in front of him. He was shocked. He actually sensed 2 shocking auras in the void in front of him. Since when did the Panwu city have 2 extreme Tao Supremes? Is the human race really going to rise? How is this possible? How is this possible? If the human race rises, wouldn't the devil netherworld's demons be forced to the side? These 2 auras were so powerful that even Hong Yi was quite apprehensive. It's fine if it's a 1-on-1, but it's a 1-on-2. Forget it. Hong Yi turned around and left. He didn't want to end up like Hong Xiao, destroyed in both body and soul, vanishing from this world. Although the 12 Grand Mist Ancestor Devils were born from the primordial chaos, it didn't mean that they couldn't die. Of course, they wouldn't die under normal circumstances. Before Ji Yufei's arrival, no one in the Devil Netherworld could threaten the 12 Grand Mist Ancestor Devils. But things were different now. One of the 12 Grand Mist Ancestor Devils was dead. The 12 Grand Mist Ancestor Devils had existed for countless years. They were the 12 most ancient Grand Mist Ancestor Devils in the Devil Netherworld. At this time, Ji Yufei and the Panwu remnant will sat cross-legged at the peak of the Panwu city. Boundless heaven and earth spiritual energy was madly gathering towards the Panwu remnant will. Ancient Tao patterns appeared on the Panwu remnant will's body one after another. Every ancient Tao pattern emitted boundless Tao energy. The shadow formed by the Panwu partial consciousness became clearer and clearer. Can I defy the heavens and be reborn just like that? The Panwu remnant will said calmly. Although he was looking forward to it, he still didn't believe that the person in front of him could really help him defy the heavens and be reborn. One had to know that his life imprint had already dissipated. The dissipation of a life imprint meant that a living being's life was gone. You're thinking too much. Ji Yufei smiled. Thinking too much. The Panwu partial consciousness was stunned, not knowing what Ji Yufei meant. Alright, first strengthen this remnant will of yours, Then use this remnant will as a guide to reconstruct the life imprint and be reborn against the heavens, said the black-clothed Gu Fei. Do you really have a way to help me defy the heavens and be reborn? The Panwu remnant thought was truly moved because he could tell that the black-robed Gu Fei was not joking. Don't worry. As the black-robed Gu Fei spoke, he closed his eyes and stopped talking. Just as the black-robed Gu Fei was about to help Panwu's remnant consciousness come back to life, Hong Yi returned to the primordial demon mountain. Hey! Why are you back so soon? Inside the Grand Mist Devil Hall, Great Ape sneered. Get lost. Hong Yi was in no mood to joke around with the Great Ape. Boss, it's best if you go there personally. Hong Yi looked at the unmoving figure sitting cross-legged at the top of the hall like an ancient demonic mountain. What's the matter, that alarmed boss? Great Ape's curiosity was piqued. Hong Yi ignored Great Ape and said to the Great Dragon, Boss, perhaps the human race is really going to rise this time. Chem. The Great Dragon opened his eyes, and 2 streaks of blood-colored lightning seemed to flash across the hall. TCH, haven't the human race been holed up in the Panwu domain for countless years? What kind of storm can they stir up? Great Ape said disapprovingly. Hey, Great Ape, what are you saying? Did my tortoise devil race offend you? An old man with a tortoise shell on his back raged. I was just speaking too quickly, that's all. Great Ape cowered at the sight of the old man's anger. This old man was the great tortoise of the 12 primordial demon ancestors, the number 1 tortoise in the world. Of course, this was only the number 1 tortoise in the Devil Nether world. All the tortoises in the Devil Nether world were his descendants. Speak. The Great Dragon said. The Panwu domain has changed. Hong Yi said solemnly. Changed? All the primordial chaos ancestral fiends in the primordial chaos devil hall opened their eyes. In an instant, terrifying devil might filled every inch of the devil hall. The entire Grand Mist Devil Hall shook. The guards outside the Devil Palace were so scared that they were lying on the ground, shivering. Panwu was a nightmare for the demons of the Devil Nether world. In the past, Panwu had slaughtered his way through the Devil Nether world. He had fought against the ancestor devils, causing the heavens to crumble and the earth to shatter. He had nearly destroyed the entire Devil Nether world. In the end, the 12 ancestor devils had joined forces to heavily injure Panwu, forcing him to pay the price of his life to open the Panwu domain. The price to pay for opening the Panwu domain was too high, but the ancestor devils couldn't even break through the Panwu domain. Of course, if the 12 ancestor devils had joined forces, they might have been able to break through the Panwu domain. However, every single one of them had lived for countless years, and every single one of them cherished their lives. Even if they could break through the Panwu domain, none of them were willing to pay the price. They might even lose their lives if they did. Panwu isn't completely dead. Great Turtle exclaimed. He had fought with Panwu in the past, and his turtle shell had nearly been shattered by Panwu. Just thinking about that tyrannical human sovereign, he felt a chill run down his spine. How would I know? I sensed the presence of 2 extreme Dao existences in the Panwu domain. Hong Yi said solemnly. Haha, you didn't see those 2 sovereigns, did you? I feel ashamed for you. Great Ape laughed. You're amazing, you're amazing. I wonder who was the one who was scared witless by that Panwu back then. Hong Yi mocked. What did you say? Great Ape flew into a rage again. This was a stain on his life. He had never suffered such a great loss and was chased down so miserably. Whoever dared to make fun of him for this matter, he would fight them. All of you, calm down. You've been fighting for countless years. Isn't it enough? The eldest, Hong Long, spoke. Hong Long was the only existence that could suppress all the primordial chaos ancestral fiends. Great Ape and Hong Yi were sworn enemies, but in front of Hong Long, they could never fight. Let's go take a look and see what's going on. The eldest, Hong Long, looked at his brothers and said. All right. Everyone nodded. Who would dare to disobey their eldest brother? When the 11 primordial chaos ancestral fiends walked out of the primordial chaos devil hall, the entire dark devil world changed color. The sun and moon dimmed as boundless demonic chi spread out from the primordial chaos devil mountain. The demonic chi enveloped more than half of the dark devil world. Countless demons knelt towards the primordial Chaos Devil Mountain in fear. The various extreme Tao archdevils of the Dark Devil world came to welcome the primordial chaos ancestral fiends. Even these extreme Tao archdevils saluted the primordial chaos ancestral fiends, not daring to be negligent. The primordial chaos ancestral fiends didn't summon the rest of the demons, but they had no choice but to come. In an instant, the primordial Chaos Devil Mountain was filled with demons. Chapter 4702. In the Dark Devil world, the 12 ancestor fiends of primordial chaos came out in full force, alarming countless demons in the Dark Devil world. The demon dragon race, the ox race, the 5 elemental devil race, the wind demon race, the winged demon race, and the corpse demon race were the strongest devil venerables of the nether fiend world. In an instant, the entire vicinity of the primordial chaos demon mountain was filled with demons. Only 11 of the 12 ancestor fiends were left. Hong Xiao's death in battle shook the Dark Devil world. All the demons could not believe that Hong Xiao had died at the hands of a human. Now, all 11 ancestor fiends had jumped out and arrived outside the Panwu region. In an instant, the entire Panwu region darkened. Day turned into night, and the sky was filled with churning demonic qi. Within the demonic qi, one could vaguely see terrifying demonic shadows. The weather changed drastically. Demonic clouds pressed down, and terrifying demonic might surged in from outside. Countless humans in the Panwu region were shocked. However, although the demonic qi was monstrous, it could not get close to the Panwu region. An invisible force erupted from the Panwu region and blocked it. At this time, black-robed Jiyu Fei was reconstructing the Panwu remnant consciousness's body. He could not leave to fight the enemy, and the others were no match for the demons. Pan Tianfang immediately found the immortal demon child and the others. Fellow Taoists, what should we do? Pan Tianfang's attitude was very humble. Isn't it simple? Deal with soldiers with generals and water with earth. Red Dragon said loudly. Pan Tianfang was speechless. Who didn't know how to say something like that? However, it was different this time. The ancestor fiends of primordial chaos had come out in full force. They were really determined to destroy the Panwu region this time. At this time, all the humans in the Panwu region were terrified. Who killed Hong Xiao? Come out and accept your death. A voice came from outside the Panwu region and instantly spread throughout the entire Panwu region. Who is Hong Xiao? If you don't know him, scram. The immortal demon child roared at the countless demons outside. What? Outside the Panwu city, the great dragon and the other primordial chaos ancestral fiends were enraged when they heard the unaging demon child's words. Boss, what are we waiting for? Let's kill our way in, Hong Yi said through gritted teeth. This time, he had successfully lured the primordial chaos ancestor devil over. Hong Yi, you're too careless. Great Ape mocked. What do you mean? Hong Yi stared at the Great Ape. Take the lead. Aren't you supposed to take the lead? Great Ape said coldly. Hong Yi was enraged and was about to fight the Great Ape. Can you guys stop for a bit? Hong Long roared at the two of them. Hong Yi and Great Ape immediately lost their temper. There's no need to use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. We are willing to be the vanguard of Sir. The Ox Devil clan's extreme Tao demon venerable shouted. That's right. Our demonic dragon clan cannot be a coward. We are also willing to be the Lord's vanguard. The demon dragon clan's clan leader immediately jumped out. The other demons also expressed their opinions. Then why aren't you guys attacking? Hong Yi roared at these guys who were all talk and no action. Kill. The Demon Ox clan's clan leader led his clansmen and charged toward the Panwu region. However, when they approached the Panwu region, the Ox Devil's bodies were smoking and they fell to the ground in pain, struggling in agony. What's going on? In the Panwu domain, everyone who saw this scene was both surprised and delighted. The Ox Devil clan's clan leader hadn't even charged into the Panwu region, but more than half of his subordinates had already fallen. At this time, even the Ox Devil clan's clan leader was feeling very uncomfortable. The extreme Tao Devil's origin energy in his body was continuously being worn away. He was so terrified that he had no choice but to stop. They were still a dozen li away from the Panwu region's entrance, but if they continued to charge in, apart from the Ox Devil clan's clan leader, the rest of the Ox Devil clan's experts would probably all die before they could reach the Panwu region. The other demons were dumbfounded by this scene. The Panwu region's power seemed to be much greater than it had been at its peak. What was going on? Ha ha! A bunch of cowards. The unold demon child was delighted to see the demons being defeated, and he burst into laughter. Damn it! Hong Yi was also indescribably shocked by this. However, in the next moment, an extremely powerful wave of demon Dao energy suddenly erupted from his body. Then, like a meteorite falling from the sky, he charged toward the Panwu region below. Boom! Hong Yi was extremely powerful. He directly broke through the Panwu region's power and charged in. What? Countless humans in the Panwu region were dumbfounded by this scene. Even the unold demon child's face turned ashen from fright. Just when everyone thought they were dead for sure, an illusory figure appeared and blocked in front of Hong Yi, intercepting him. Scram! A powerful wave of divine will erupted from the illusory figure. This divine will transformed into a terrifying killing intent, causing transparent ripples to appear in the void. The devil race experts standing on the demonic clouds outside immediately fell from the sky like dumplings falling into a pot. Compete. Hong Long sneered. An equally powerful killing intent erupted from his body, directly counteracting the killing intent in the Panwu region. So powerful, among the countless demons present, only the extreme Dao demon venerables could withstand this level of killing intent. Half-step supremacies were simply not enough. Under the collision of the two killing intents, many demon races' half-step supremacies directly died. Countless demons were extremely shocked. They immediately retreated into the distance like a receding tide. In a battle of this level, existences below the extreme Dao could not interfere. Those below the extreme Dao Supremes were all ants. No one would be stupid enough to stay and die. Acting mysterious, Hong Long reached out with his right hand. A demonic hand tore through the void in front of him and grabbed into the Panwu region. In an instant, the figure in the Panwu region was enveloped by the demonic hand. Bam! The demonic figure was instantly crushed by the demonic hand. This shocked everyone. What's going on? Hong Yi and the rest of the primordial ancestor fiends were dumbfounded. They had a bad feeling. Could that figure not be the real one? An incarnation could contend against the great dragon boss? Are you kidding me? That was the great dragon boss, the strongest among the 12 primordial ancestor fiends. Even someone with a fiery temper like Great Yuan had to behave in front of the great dragon boss. Once the great dragon boss was angered, all the primordial ancestor fiends would cower. Preposterous. Hong Long was enraged. The other party actually dared to underestimate him, using only an incarnation to fight him? This was too humiliating. He should not be insulting the demons. Kill. The great dragon boss raged. Heaven and earth turned upside down. He turned into a ball of demonic fire and smashed into the Panwu region below. This collision was thousands of times more terrifying than a meteor falling from the sky. The entire world shook violently. Chapter 4703. The eldest of the 12 ancestor devils was enraged. He turned into a fireball and descended from the sky. It was like a black demonic sun descending from the sky. The might of this smash dispersed all the clouds above the Panwu region. Terrifying demonic might spread in all directions. Half of the nether devil world shook. Countless living beings were terrified to the extreme. The nether devil world was different from the origin devil world. The origin devil world's heavenly Dao laws were incomplete, and an extreme Dao supremacy could not be born. Before Jiu Fei descended, the origin devil world was also a world of demons. However, there were still many other races in the origin devil world. The demons were unable to kill all the other races in the origin devil world. However, the nether devil world was different. The nether devil world was a world with complete heavenly Dao laws. The 12 ancestor devils were the strongest demons born from the primordial chaos. Therefore, the nether devil world was destined to be the world of demons. Moreover, Demons were the strongest power in this world. No one could contend against them. However, there were always accidents. The 12 ancestor devils actually went overboard. They allowed the nether devil world's races to multiply for a period of time. As a result, the weakest human race actually produced an extreme Tao supremacy. No one expected the weak human race to produce a supremacy. Therefore, the demons faced their first crisis. This crisis nearly shook the demons' ruling position in the nether devil world. The human race's supremacy, Pan Wu, swept in all directions and fought the ancestor devils. Their blood dyed the earth red, and the 12 ancestor devils were alarmed. The human race's supremacy, Pan Wu, killed his way to the nether devil world's sacred mountain, the primordial demon mountain. He fought alone against the 12 ancestor devils. That battle nearly destroyed the entire primordial demon mountain. The earth cracked, and countless demons died. Although Pan Wu was defeated in the end, he severely injured the 12 ancestor devils, forcing them to go into seclusion. Pan Wu used his life to create the Pan Wu region, protecting the human race for countless years. In the present, the Pan Wu region's power gradually weakened, and the human race's extinction crisis descended once again. What should we do? Pan Tianfang's face turned pale when he saw the fireball falling from the sky. Don't worry, Yarrow Yu, Crimson Dragon, and the others thought otherwise. Although the black-robed Jiyu Fei was only an incarnation, he was strong enough to be unafraid of any demons in the dark devil world. So what if they were the 12 Grand Mist ancestor fiends? Boom! At that moment, a loud sound rang out. Hong Long's ball of demonic fire had suddenly collided with a transparent barrier in the void. The demonic fire exploded and a demonic dragon that was even bigger than a mountain appeared in the world. Endless demonic fire burst out from the demonic dragon's body and even the void was incinerated. A layer of light barrier appeared in the sky above the Panwu domain, enveloping the entire Panwu domain and blocking the endless demonic flames. Ancient patterns of the way intertwined on the light shroud, forming ancient patterns of the way. Each pattern was emitting the divine light of the Great Path and exploding with the power of the Great Path. Seeing this scene, the other Grand Mist ancestor fiends were so shocked that their eyeballs nearly fell to the ground. The power of the Panwu region could actually block the Great Dragon boss attack? How was this possible? Even if the human race's supreme Panwu was reborn, he wouldn't dare to take the Great Dragon boss attack head-on. Wang. The void trembled, and the phantom of a huge ancient cauldron appeared in the void, emitting a terrifying aura. Countless demons were terrified to the extreme. The Grand Mist ancestor fiends outside the Panwu region were shocked to see this scene. What is this thing? Is it an extreme Tao artifact? When did the human race refine such an extreme Tao artifact? To be able to block the Great Dragon boss attack, this extreme Tao artifact was definitely a top extreme Tao artifact. The aura of Grand Mist ancestor Devil Hongyi exclaimed. What? The other Grand Mist ancestor fiends were all stunned. The ancient cauldron phantom actually emitted the aura of Grand Mist. Was this extreme Tao artifact actually a heaven-opening Tao artifact? In the entire netherworld demonic world, there was only one heaven-opening Tao artifact, and this heaven-opening Tao artifact was in the hands of the Great Dragon Boss. It was refined by the Great Dragon Boss using the Grand Mist divine metal. Roar. In the sky above the Panwu region, the demon dragon roared, shaking the heavens and the void. Countless humans in the Panwu region were shocked to see this scene. This demon dragon's eye was much bigger than the divine sun in the sky. It spat out a mouthful of demonic fire, and a large area of the void was annihilated. This world's #1 demon dragon? The unold demon child suddenly said. He was very familiar with the Grand Mist aura that erupted from the demon dragon. Who knows? Heavenly the Arch-Zi Yang stroked his beard and smiled. Pan Tianfang saw that they were still talking cheerfully and calm as usual, and he couldn't help but be impressed. Indeed, there were no weak soldiers under a strong general. Scram! At this moment, an angry roar rang out. In the next moment, a destructive sword light appeared in the void and slashed at the demon dragon in the sky. Wherever the sword light passed, it destroyed everything. The demon dragon sensed danger and spat out a beam of demonic light from its mouth. Clang! The demonic light and sword light collided. In the next moment, the sword light dissipated in the void, and a demon saber appeared. Everyone was shocked to see this. The demonic aura that erupted from the demon saber was extremely powerful, and countless ancient demonic patterns appeared on the demon saber. The blade seemed to be stained with blood, and the blood seemed to have not dried yet. It was still emitting a bloody light. Heaven-splitting demon saber. It's the heaven-splitting demon saber. Great Ape exclaimed outside the Panwu region. The great dragon boss had actually used the heaven-splitting demon saber. He hadn't used it in a long time. The last time he used it was when he was fighting against Panwu. At this time, the demon dragon transformed into a giant and grabbed the heaven-splitting demon saber. Kill! The demon saber's power surged around the great dragon boss. He gripped the saber with both hands and slashed it down at the Panwu region below. The saber light instantly soared for millions of miles, as if it was going to split the world in half. A pitch-black spatial rift appeared high in the sky. Oh no! Sensing the might of this frightening saber strike, the countless humans in the Panwu domain were extremely frightened. Once the Panwu domain was breached, everyone inside would be annihilated. This time, the demons were determined to wipe out the human race. Just as the saber light was about to hit the light barrier above the Panwu region, an ancient cauldron rushed out and slammed into the demon saber light. In the next moment, the saber light shattered, and the void cracked. The ancient cauldron had actually blocked this earth-shattering attack. That cauldron is indeed a heaven-splitting Tao artifact. The primordial chaos ancestor demon outside the Panwu region was dumbfounded when he saw this. Master is making a move. Chapter 4704. The demons were invading on a large scale. Everyone in the Panwu region was in a state of panic. When they learned that the demons attacking the Panwu region were the primordial chaos ancestral fiends, the humans in the Panwu region fell into despair. However, the humans in the Panwu region thought that they were doomed. Who would have thought that the black-robed Jiu Fei would make a move and stop the eldest of the 12 primordial chaos ancestral fiends, Hong Long, with just an ancient cauldron? He was the strongest among the primordial chaos ancestral fiends. Even the Panwu ancestor had been injured by him. But now, the black-robed Jiu Fei had stopped Hong Long without showing himself. There was hope for the humans in the Panwu region. Just how powerful is Master's original body? Yarrow Yu and Red Dragon were shocked. This was because they knew that the black-robed Jiu Fei was only an incarnation of their master. If the incarnation was already so powerful, wouldn't the real body be even more powerful? It was unimaginable. It had been too long since the Red Dragon, Yarrow Yu, and the others had left. Back when the South Heaven Supremacy the Arch rebelled, Jiu Fei was still not an extreme supremacy, but now, a clone of Jiu Fei was able to kill an extreme supremacy the Arch. Yarrow Yu and the others were eager to see their master's true self. Boom! Bam! Muffled sounds of collision could be heard continuously. Mighty energy waves from the sky shook the world. The entire Panwu domain was shaking. Even with the barrier of light as a barrier, the powerful aura that seeped into the Panwu domain still made it hard for the humans to breathe. This is a heaven creation Tao artifact, a primordial chaos artifact. Hong Long was shocked and furious. He held the heaven creation demonic saber with both hands and clashed with the ancient cauldron. The saber did not even leave a mark on the cauldron. Buzz! At that moment, the ancient cauldron shook. In the next moment, countless shadows of beasts rushed out of the cauldron, each of them bursting with powerful energy waves. What is he playing at this time? The demons watching from outside the Panwu region were dumbfounded when they saw countless shadows of beasts rushing out of the ancient cauldron. Roar! A white tiger roared at the sky and pounced at the great dragon. The power of this pounce caused cracks to appear in the void. Kill! Hong Long didn't even think as he slashed his saber towards the white tiger that was pouncing towards him. Swoosh! Wherever the blade light passed, the white tiger shadow was actually split in half by the great dragon blade. It immediately dissipated into the void and disappeared without a trace. At this time, countless beasts rushed out from the cauldron like a tide, pouncing towards the great dragon. In an instant, the great dragon was engulfed by countless beasts. Ha ha, to think that a primordial chaos ancestral fiend would have such a day. Pan Tianfang laughed loudly in the Panwu domain. However, in the next moment, countless beastly shadows were sent flying. One by one, the beastly shadows collapsed in the void. Roar! The dragon's roar shook the sky, and the demonic dragon appeared again. With a sweep of its tail, countless beasts were sent flying, and all the beasts disappeared. I was worried that I couldn't find a large amount of primordial chi to prolong your life. Now it's all good. A voice came from the sky. Then, a figure appeared in front of the mountain and river cauldron. He grabbed one of the mountain and river cauldron's legs and swung the cauldron at the demonic dragon. Bang! Crack! One of the demonic dragon's horns was directly smashed off. The demonic dragon roared wildly, and endless demonic fire burned the void. Bang! The black-robed Jiu Fei broke another horn of the demonic dragon. Buzz! At this moment, the demonic saber appeared and slashed towards the black-clothed Jiu Fei at an extremely fast speed. However, the black-robed Jiu Fei still swung the mountain and river cauldron. Clang! The blade light formed by the demonic blade was sent flying. The black-robed Jiu Fei's cauldron smashed into the demonic dragon's head. Even a supreme existence born from the primordial chaos would not be able to withstand such a blow. The demonic dragon's head exploded, turning into a mist of blood. What? The primordial ancestral fiends outside the Panwu region were all dumbfounded. Then, the black-robed Jiu Fei patted the mountain and river cauldron, sucking the headless demonic dragon into the cauldron. Boss, Hong Yi, Great Ape, and the other primordial ancestral fiends were shocked to see this. The demonic blade flew away. Hong Yi immediately chased after the heaven-splitting demonic saber. Boss is finished just like that. The other primordial ancestral fiends were dumbfounded. One had to know that Hong Long was the strongest existence among the 12 primordial ancestral fiends, and he wielded the heaven-splitting demonic blade. Kill. The black-robed Jiu Fei grabbed the mountain and river cauldron and charged into the primordial ancestral fiends. Bam! The mountain and river cauldron smashed down, and a primordial ancestral fiend was instantly smashed into a mist of blood. Then, the mist was sucked into the mountain and river cauldron by Jiu Fei. Boom! The mountain and river cauldron smashed down again, smashing another primordial ancestral fiend into smithereens before sucking it into the mountain and river cauldron by Jiu Fei. All the primordial ancestral fiends were scared out of their wits. This guy was too ferocious to the extreme. He was actually harvesting the lives of primordial ancestral fiend. That was the high and mighty ancestral fiend of the netherworld fiend world. Yet, it was easily killed by a human supremacy without being able to retaliate. Boom! The group of primordial ancestral fiends that had once dominated the netherworld fiend world scattered in all directions. However, no matter how fast they fled, 2 more primordial ancestral fiends were killed by Jiu Fei's mountain and river cauldron. Their yuan qi was sucked into the mountain and river cauldron. Haha, killing primordial ancestral fiends is like killing chickens. How delightful. Jiu Fei roared with laughter. With that, Jiu Fei had collected all the yuan qi of 5 primordial ancestral fiends. That should be enough. Jiu Fei did not continue chasing after the primordial ancestral fiends. The fall of the primordial ancestral fiends actually caused a rain of blood to fall from the sky. Countless humans in the Panwu region nearly dropped their eyes to the ground when they saw this scene. They felt like they were in a dream. Everything that was happening before their eyes was just too surreal. They were actually witnessing a human slaughtering a primordial ancestral fiend. That was a primordial ancestral fiend. Even the Panwu patriarch was defeated by them back then. The primordial ancestral fiends were invincible existences in the netherworld fiend world. But now, someone could easily kill a primordial ancestral fiend. How could the humans in the Panwu region not be shocked? Jiu Fei's figure vanished into the void. At this time, the primordial ancestral fiend, Great Ape, who had fled hundreds of millions of miles away, stopped. He looked in the direction of the Panwu region with lingering fear. For countless years, there had never been a living being that could threaten his life. But now, just now, he felt his life being threatened. That human was too ferocious, too strong. And that ancient cauldron was actually a heaven creation Tao treasure that was even stronger than the heaven-splitting demonic saber. When a human paragon used a heaven creation Tao treasure, it was practically an invincible combination. Even the great dragon patriarch was done for. The remaining primordial ancestral fiends had all fled for their lives. Sigh. It's better to go back and pack up, than hide in outer space. Chapter 4705. The black-robed Jiu Fei had smashed 5 primordial ancestral fiends to death with the mountain and river cauldron. He was extremely ferocious. When the news spread, countless demons were terrified. The primordial ancestral fiends that Jiu Fei had smashed to death were the most ancient ancestral fiends in the netherworld fiend world. Furthermore, every one of them was a paramount ancestral fiend. Any one of these primordial ancestral fiends could sweep through the entire netherworld fiend world. They were overlord-level existences. But now, these high and mighty supreme ancestral fiends had actually died. Furthermore, 5 primordial ancestral fiends had died at once. This was simply heaven-shattering. The fall of the 5 primordial ancestral fiends was enough to change the power structure of the entire netherworld fiend world. This time, the primordial ancestral fiends had come in a menacing manner. Who would have thought that they would be beaten into a sorry state by the humans? Some primordial ancestral fiends fled into the depths of the cosmos, while others fled back to the primordial demon mountain. After all, this was their lair, their birthplace. A total of 3 primordial ancestral fiends fled back to the primordial demon mountain. The first thing they did upon returning was to activate the mountain protecting array. This was a paramount Tao-level demonic array. The paramount Tao-level demonic array enveloped the entire primordial demon mountain. The remaining primordial ancestral fiends did not even dare return to the primordial demon mountain. It was unknown where they had hidden themselves. And at this moment, Jiu Fei could not be bothered to chase after the primordial ancestral fiends. He had harvested the yuan qi of the 5 primordial ancestral fiends in order to revive Panwu. It was truly difficult to revive Panwu with a remnant will. The amount of yuan qi consumed was just too great. Rumble. Jiu Fei sat cross-legged in the sky above the Panwu region. The mountain and river cauldron in front of him emitted a thunderous sound as countless ancient Tao patterns appeared and intertwined on the cauldron. An unimaginably powerful life aura erupted from the mountain and river cauldron. Even the mountain and river cauldron could not seal this life aura. It was as though a terrifying life form was slumbering in the mountain and river cauldron. This, within the Panwu domain, everyone was incomparably shocked. They all raised their heads to look at the sky, only to see thousands of auspicious lights in the sky. Auspicious clouds coiled around the sky, creating a grand scene that shook the heavens. Can ancestor Pan Wu really reappear? Pan Tianfang was extremely shocked. Seeing the scene in the sky, he somewhat believed that the black-robed Jiu Fei could revive first ancestor Panwu. Master's methods are not something we can imagine. Red Dragon said proudly. Just then, the entire Panwu region suddenly trembled. Countless tiny light spots appeared in the void in every corner of the Panwu region before gathering towards the mountain and river cauldron in the sky. That is, everyone was taken aback. Specks of light flickered like fireflies, as if they could be extinguished at any time. What is this? Yarrow Yu stretched out her hand, wanting to grab the speck of light that floated past her. However, the speck of light seemed to be illusory. It actually passed through her palm and floated directly towards the sky. Soul, no, it should be soul light, Heavenly Emperor Ziyang exclaimed. Soul light? Everyone was taken aback. Soul light, soul light. That was a living being's life mark. Back then, ancestor Pan Wu used his life to open the Panwu region. His soul had already collapsed, and he could not be more dead. However, no one expected that Pan Wu's soul light would actually fuse into every inch of the void in the Panwu region. Black-robed Jiu Fei wanted to revive Pan Wu. He definitely did not simply create a Pan Wu. He wanted to revive the true human hero of a generation, Pan Wu. The countless soul lights that emerged from the Panwu region all gathered towards the mountain and river cauldron in the sky. Boom! With a loud sound, a dazzling divine light rushed out of the mountain and river cauldron. This divine light directly pierced through the demonic clouds in the sky and rushed into the starry sky. A figure appeared from this divine light and slowly descended from the sky. A shocking aura erupted from this figure. Countless stars in the sky shook violently as if they could fall from the sky at any time. A terrifying pressure descended from the sky. Even with the array's protection, all living beings in the Panwu region felt their souls tremble. Even the unaging demon child and heavenly emperor Ziyang, who were half-step supremes, were terrified. In front of this power, they felt as weak as ants. I, Panwu, have returned. That person exhaled, and his voice spread throughout the entire demonic underworld. What? How is this possible, Panwu? At this moment, countless extreme path demon sovereigns of the demons were scared out of their wits. All the powerful demons were in disbelief. How was this possible? Didn't Panwu's body and soul perish countless years ago? Even the primordial ancestor demons that were hiding somewhere were scared out of their wits. Ancestor, the ancestor is back. Pan Tianfang, the leader of the human race in the Panwu region, wept as he excitedly kowtowed to the figure in the sky. Ancestor Panwu is back. Countless humans in the Panwu region knelt on the ground, extremely excited. Congratulations on your return to the world. The black-robed Jiu Fei waved his hand, and the mountain and river cauldron rapidly shrank and landed in his hand. The divine light in the sky also dissipated and disappeared. Thank you for your help, Dao friend. Panwu bowed to the black-robed Jiu Fei. The black-robed Jiu Fei calmly accepted Panwu's bow. Haha, the two of them laughed at the same time. The human race in the Panwu region celebrated Panwu's rebirth. In contrast, the primordial demon mountain was gloomy, and the morale of all the demons hit rock bottom. The human race in the Panwu region celebrated for 10 days and 10 nights after Panwu's rebirth. Then, Panwu went to the primordial demon mountain to fight for the human race in the demonic underworld. On this day, the primordial demon mountain's protective demonic formation was destroyed. This sacred mountain of demons that had existed since the birth of the demonic underworld was actually destroyed. The complete disappearance of the sacred mountain of demons terrified all the demons in the demonic underworld. 2 of the 3 primordial ancestor fiends were killed by Panwu, and 1 escaped. This battle shook the entire demonic underworld. This was also Panwu's first battle after his rebirth. This battle made all the demons in the demonic underworld tremble in fear. 8 of the 12 Grand Mist ancestor fiends had fallen, and only 4 of them had managed to escape the net. No one knew where they were hiding. Suddenly, a peerless ancestor fiend jumped out and raised his arm. He actually gathered countless demonic ancestors in the demonic underworld to form an army of demons, ready to fight to the death with the Panwu region. Kill. Follow me and trample the Panwu region. Demons reign supreme. Kill all humans. All the living beings of the devil race in the nether devil world had come. Countless devils blotted out the sky and covered the earth, surrounding the entire Panwu region so tightly that not even a drop of water could escape. One after another, demonic shadows appeared near the Panwu region. Their terrifying demonic aura shook the heavens and the earth. Haha, good. Saves me the trouble of finding you one by one. Come on, I'll kill all of you in one go. Chapter 4706. Since the beginning of the Panwu region, there had never been a battle of such scale. All the demons of the netherworld demonic world had come. Demons filled the sky and the ground. Huge demonic dragons the size of mountains could be vaguely seen in the demonic clouds. One powerful demonic figure after another appeared around the Panwu region. The aura they exuded was so strong that even the void of heaven and earth seemed to collapse. Spatial cracks appeared in the void of heaven and earth. The entire world became very fragile, and the power of heaven and earth was greatly suppressed. Panwu, come out and die. An old voice rang out, and an old dragon rushed out of the demonic clouds. This was the leader of the demonic dragon tribe. He was extremely powerful and was an extreme demonic dragon. This demonic dragon had achieved the Tao after splitting open the sky. He was a direct descendant of the primordial ancestor devil, Hong Long. Logically speaking, it was very difficult for a direct descendant of Hong Long to become an extreme supreme. However, the leader of the demonic dragon tribe had arrived. Ha ha, a loud laugh rang out from the Panwu region. Since you want to die, I will grant you your wish. Today, I will kill to my heart's content. A figure shot up from the Panwu region, directly breaking through the layer of divine light that enveloped the entire Panwu region, and appeared in front of the old dragon. It's you. The moment Panwu saw this old dragon, he could not help being startled. Me. Let us continue the battle from back then. The old dragon transformed into a black-robed old man. This black-robed old man was holding a demonic blade in his hand. It was a demonic blade that was filled with murderous intent. Heaven-splitting demonic blade. Panwu's pupils shrank when he saw the demonic blade. He couldn't help but recall the battle on the primordial Chaos Demon Mountain. It was this fellow who had suddenly attacked him with the demonic blade. If he hadn't been injured by the demonic blade, he wouldn't have had to pay the price of his life to open up the Panwu region. This blade, at that moment, Jiu Fei, who was watching the show from the Panwu region, couldn't help but frown when he saw the scene in the sky. The demonic blade had flown away when he had killed Hong Long. He hadn't expected that the demonic blade would fall into the hands of this old dragon. Hehe, how does it feel to be cut by this blade? The old dragon stared at Pan Wu and sneered. Kill. Pan Wu couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with this fellow. He directly threw a punch at the black-robed old dragon opposite him. Rumble. With one punch, heaven and earth shook. Dazzling divine light illuminated the entire world and dispersed the heavy demonic aura. The demonic saber in the old dragon's hand slashed downwards in a simple and direct manner. Swoosh. The saber light suddenly appeared and instantly broke through the terrifying fist energy that was charging towards Pan Wu. Buzz. Just as the saber light was about to hit Pan Wu, an illusion of an ancient cauldron appeared on Pan Wu's body. When the saber light hit the ancient cauldron, a metallic sound rang out. The incomparably sharp demonic saber light directly shattered in the void. Seeing this, the old dragon could not help but be moved. This person actually also had a heaven-opening Tao artifact. One with the cauldron, kill. Pan Wu immediately charged towards the old dragon. An illusory cauldron appeared on his body, and the color of his skin became the same as that of the ancient cauldron. How is this possible? At this time, the old dragon was no longer just moved. This lunatic actually refined a heaven-opening Tao artifact into his body. Everyone, let's attack together. If we hesitate any longer, we will all die. The old dragon roared. At the same time, the demonic saber in his hand turned into a shocking demonic light as if it could split the entire world in half. The peerless saber slashed down on Pan Wu's head. Pan Wu's momentum was extremely strong. He directly smashed the saber light with a punch and directly attacked the old dragon. However, at this time, several demonic lights broke through the layers of demonic clouds and directly hit Pan Wu's body. In the next moment, the void around Pan Wu exploded, and the demonic light directly engulfed Pan Wu. This was the extreme path demon ancestor's attack. He's still not dead. The group of demons could not help but be extremely excited when they saw this scene. However, the next moment, countless demons were dumbfounded. They saw Pan Wu walking out of the demonic light step by step, and he was actually unharmed. He's still not dead. All the demons were inexplicably shocked, especially the few demons who attacked. They were even more in disbelief. It was the joint attack of several extreme path demon ancestors. Even a primordial ancestor demon would be half dead if he was hit. How could this guy not be injured at all? All of you, go to hell. Pan Wu instantly threw 18 punches, and an extremely terrifying scene appeared between heaven and earth. 18 giant punches soared into the sky, directly blasting 18 terrifying demonic shadows away, and the entire world seemed like it was going to explode. A terrifying aura of destruction filled every inch of the void between heaven and earth. Demonic blood fell from the sky. After blasting 18 extreme path demon ancestors away with one move, Pan Wu's momentum was extremely strong. In the next moment, Pan Wu directly pounced towards the old dragon. With the mountain and river cauldron protecting him, he was not afraid of the heaven-opening demonic saber in the other party's hand at all. Saber light crisscrossed, fist shadows shattered the void, and Pan Wu and the old dragon fought endlessly. Terrifying energy waves spread out, and the surrounding void constantly collapsed and was annihilated. Master, do you think Senior Pan Wu will win? Yarrow Yu, who was beside the black-robed Jiyu Fei, asked curiously. Isn't that obvious? Of course. The black-clothed Jiyu Fei was bursting with confidence. I've even lent the mountain and river cauldron to this guy, and I've even taught him the weapon fusion secret technique. If I still can't beat him, I might as well kill myself. Sure enough, high up in the sky, Pan Wu displayed his invincible might. His right hand grabbed the demonic saber that was slashing down, and his left fist fiercely smashed into the old dragon's chest, causing the old dragon's chest to cave in, and a fist mark appeared on his back. A bone-chilling sound of bones breaking came from the old dragon's body. In the next moment, the old dragon spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out. Rumble, at that moment, the entire world suddenly shook violently, and countless ancient demonic patterns appeared in the void. A killing formation actually enveloped the entire Pan Wu region. Ha ha! Pan Wu, you're still going to die in the end. The old dragon's laughter came from afar. TSK, do you think you can kill me with a mere demonic formation? Dream on. Pan Wu sneered. I don't believe you can fight against 89 supreme demon ancestors by yourself. The old dragon gritted his teeth and said, 89 supreme demon ancestors? Even Pan Wu could not help but be shocked at that moment. These guys actually came out in full force. Even the supreme demon ancestors of the netherworld demonic world came. 89 extreme path demon ancestors. That's all the extreme path demon ancestors in the world. One person fighting against 89 supreme demon ancestors by himself? All the humans in the Pan Wu region were stunned. Chapter 4707. This time, the devil race was really determined to exterminate the human race. All the supreme demon ancestors of the netherworld demon world were here. There were a total of 89 supreme demon ancestors. With such a force, they could even do whatever they wanted in the ancestral realm. Rumble, the 89 supreme demon ancestors set up a demonic formation that enveloped the entire Pan Wu region. The terrifying demonic might could destroy heaven and earth. The Pan Wu region shook violently as if it would collapse at any time. Fellow Taoists, let these ants witness the power of the first killing formation of the demons. The old dragon's voice came from outside the formation. All right. That's how it should be. The humans shall be destroyed. One after another, terrifying figures appeared outside the formation. In the next moment, boundless demonic power was poured into the demonic formation. This, even Pan Wu could not help but be moved. Boundless demonic patterns emerged and intertwined. Then, the power of the 89 supreme demon ancestors gathered together. A figure that was domineering and powerful enough to destroy heaven and earth appeared in the demonic formation. It was a pale-faced, crimson-haired young man. His crimson hair casually draped over his shoulders. His body surged with a boundless demonic aura. It was a terrifying demonic aura that struck fear into the hearts of all living beings. The power of the 89 supreme demon ancestors actually evolved into a blood technique demon. It was not a real great demon, but an existence that was condensed by the power of the formation. It was like a real demon. This is, in the Pan Wu region, the black-robed Jiyu Fei could not help but be shocked when he saw this. An incarnation that condensed the power of the 89 supreme demon ancestors. The crimson-haired young man suddenly raised his head and looked at Pan Wu. Then, he smiled strangely and suddenly grabbed Pan Wu with his right hand. It seemed like a casual grab, but it shook heaven and earth. The wind and clouds changed color because of it. Surging demonic aura surged out of his hand and instantly covered half the sky. The surging demonic aura formed a giant demonic hand that easily covered the Pan Wu region. This scene was shocking. The demonic hand shattered the clouds in the sky and enveloped a part of the world. Before it could truly grab Pan Wu, cracks began to appear in the void around him. Pan Wu couldn't help but be visibly moved. The boundless devilish qi caused him to feel as if he'd fallen into a bottomless pit of ice, and his soul felt as if it was about to be struck to the point of leaving his body. Raw. Pan Wu didn't panic in the face of danger. With a furious shout, an unparalleled energy fluctuation surged out from his body, and he instantly turned into a flickering shadow that charged at the crimson-haired young man. The gigantic demonic claw that was like a mountain grabbed thin air. Hey! The crimson-haired youth's eyes flashed with a strange light. He felt somewhat surprised, as if he didn't expect Pan Wu to be able to dodge his grab. This blood-haired young man was like a supreme devil. His claw missed, and with a flip of his palm, he clenched his fist and punched at Pan Wu. "You think I'm afraid of you?" Pan Wu, who had become one with the cauldron, also punched out. Boom! The two fists instantly collided. In the next moment, a large area of the void shattered, and two figures flew out. The crimson-haired young man furrowed his eyebrows. "This guy can actually resist me? How is this possible?" Boom! At that moment, blazing flames soared into the sky, as if the blazing sun had suddenly fallen from the sky. A figure was wrapped in a ball of fire, and it quickly charged at the crimson-haired young man. The horrifying heatwave burned heaven and earth, and the surging devilish qi that shrouded half of the sky was actually dispersed by this pure yang power. The crimson-haired young man directly dodged it. After the attack missed, Pan Wu stood in the air within the firelight. His body surged with golden rays of light that lingered around his body. Faintly, there seemed to be a few golden three-legged birds flying around his body. They're evenly matched. The black-robed Jiyu Fei, who was watching the battle from the Panwu territory, had a grave expression. One righteous and one evil were confronting each other. The power of the 89 supreme demon ancestors gathered together was absolutely unbelievably powerful. Even if Hong Long was not dead, it would be difficult for him to resist this power. However, with the power of the cauldron of mountain and river, Pan Wu was able to stand on equal footing with the embodiment of the 89 extreme Dao demon ancestors' power. This shocked the 89 extreme Dao demon ancestors to the extreme. How is this possible? The old dragon was inexplicably shocked. Die! Die! The two experts roared at the same time and pounced at each other at the same time. Pan Wu waved the demonic saber that he had snatched from the old dragon just now, and the dazzling saber radiance soared for thousands of miles. With a flash of the saber radiance, the crimson-haired young man was cut in half. What? All the supreme demon ancestors of the demons were extremely shocked. He killed the embodiment of the killing formation with just one slash? It's over just like that. Yarrow Yu and the rest were also dumbfounded. At that moment, the demonic figure did not dissipate. Instead, it recovered in an instant and punched Pan Wu, sending him flying hundreds of thousands of miles away. Pan Wu was protected by the mountain and river cauldron, so the crimson-haired demon's punch could not hurt him at all. The two figures began to fight. This battle was truly earth-shattering. The void exploded, and even the supreme demonic formation that enveloped the entire Panwu territory was shaken. In the end, the demonic formation collapsed, and the 89 supreme demon ancestors vomited blood and flew back. Pan Wu took advantage of the situation and charged into the group of supreme demon ancestors. He killed until the sky was filled with blood, and the universe was shattered. No one could have imagined that Pan Wu could single-handedly defeat 89 extreme-grade supremes. Wherever the saber light passed, several demonic shadows were cut in half. When the humans in the Panwu territory saw this, they were all scared out of their wits. Old ancestor Pan Wu was really too awesome. Only the black-robed Jiyu Fei's expression did not change. At that moment, Pan Wu's eyes were already red from killing. The 89 supreme demon ancestors were already scattered somewhere. The smell of blood filled the air. Pan Wu killed the demons, and the humans in the Panwu territory were extremely shocked. The humans had been bullied by the demons for countless years, and they were finally not bullied anymore. The humans were finally going to rise. Even the primordial ancestor fiends were nowhere to be seen. No one dared to provoke Pan Wu at this time. However, the old dragon wanted to take back the heaven-splitting demonic saber and suddenly attacked Pan Wu. However, It was killed by Pan Wu with a single saber strike. The current Pan Wu was already different from the past. The scene of a saber slaying a demon dragon was nothing in the eyes of the black-robed Jiyu Fei. However, in the eyes of the humans in the Panwu territory, the Grandmaster was different. All the humans in the Panwu territory saw Pan Wu as their savior and an omnipotent existence. When the black-robed Jiyu Fei saw this scene, he understood his thoughts. Chapter 4708. Pan Wu's divine might was unparalleled. After fusing with the mountain river cauldron, his combat power surpassed his limits. Even if he fought against all the supreme demon ancestors in the entire nether demon world alone, he was still able to defeat them. The sky was dyed red with demon blood, and the ground was filled with rivers of blood. This battle changed the fate of the entire human race in the nether demon world. The demons were no longer the main characters of this world, but the human race. The human race had waited for this day for too long. On this day, Pan Wu led the human race in the Panwu region and fought in all directions. The demons were defeated, and countless corpses were laid on the ground. In the end, the black-clothed Jiyu Fei joined forces with Pan Wu and wiped out all the supreme demon ancestors in the netherworld demon realm. This day was definitely an extremely tragic day for the entire demon race. However, the demon race was definitely not worthy of sympathy. The demons had always treated the living beings of other races as ants, and killed them without any mercy. Of course, even Jiyu Fei could not guarantee that there were no supreme demon ancestors in the nether demon world that escaped. However, the demons in the nether demon world were no longer a threat. Fellow Jiyu, are you really leaving? In the Panwu region, outside the Panwu Grand Hall, the black-clad Jiyu Fei and Panwu were drinking wine. At this time, the demonic clouds that shrouded the Panwu region had already dispersed. The sky was dotted with stars, and a bright moon hung high in the sky. We've been away for a long time. It's time to go back. The black-clothed Jiyu Fei looked at the bright moon in the sky and sighed. Fellow Jiyu, you're just an incarnation. Whether you go back or not doesn't affect your original body much, right? Pan Wu looked at the black-clothed Jiyu Fei and said, My original body has already surpassed the extreme grade. I have to go back to enter a supreme world. Jiyu Fei's gaze became deep as he looked at the bright moon in the sky. Supreme world? When Pan Wu heard this, he could not help but be shocked. Could there be a world more perfect than the dark demon realm in this world? We'll be leaving in a few days. We'll be relying on you here. Jiyu Fei said. Pan Wu didn't say anything and just drank to drown his sorrows. At this time, all the humans in the Panwu region were celebrating the greatest victory in the history of the human race. From now on, the Dark Devil realm would belong to the human race. However, this day came earlier than Jiyu Fei had expected. Boom! On the second day, a beam of dazzling divine light suddenly descended from the sky above the Panwu district. The divine sound of the Great Path rang out in the void, and the Great Path of the world resonated. All the living beings in the Nether Devil realm were alarmed. The divine sound of the Great Path lingered, and the demonic aura of the entire world was immediately dispersed. The demonic nature of the entire world was suppressed. The humans in the Panwu domain were all shocked to the extreme. Every human in the Panwu domain was bathed in the divine light of the Great Path and listened to the divine voice of the Great Path. The shackles of their cultivation began to loosen. At this time, the black-robed Jiyu Fei led Yarrow Yu, the Crimson Dragon, the unaging demon child, and Heavenly Emperor Ziyang out and directly into the sacred light. Brother Jiyu, seeing this scene, Pan Wu could not help but feel very reluctant. The reason why he could be reborn was that Jiyu Fei had used a great mystique and used endless resources to bring him back to the world. Cat. Jiyu Fei suddenly waved his right hand, and an item flew out of his hand. In the next moment, the divine light retracted, and Jiyu Fei and the others in the divine light directly disappeared in the void, without a trace. Pan Wu caught the item and looked up into the sky. He saw a huge black hole gradually shrinking in the sky, and the shattered void was slowly repaired under the effect of the power of the world. Pan Wu looked down at the item in his hand and saw that it was a jade scroll. He probed the jade scroll with his divine consciousness, and a large amount of information surged into his mind. Brother Gu, we will meet again. A smile appeared on Pan Wu's face. Human realm, on a star in the depths of the endless starry sky, a figure sat cross-legged. This star was barren. Other than sand and stones, there was only sand and stones. There wasn't even a blade of grass. This was a star without any life. The black-robed young man who sat cross-legged on a large rock seemed to have become one with the void around him, as if he had existed since ancient times. The black-robed young man's body was already covered with a layer of dust. Suddenly, the black-robed young man's eyeballs moved, and then he opened his eyes. In the next moment, a roulette flew out from the black-robed young man's body, floating high in the sky, and a divine light rushed out from the roulette. Buzz! The void shook, and several figures appeared in the divine light. I'm finally back. The black-robed young man sighed. Disciple Yarrow Yu. Disciple Red Dragon. Greetings, Master. Greetings, Master. The four experts who walked out of the divine light immediately knelt in front of the black-robed young man. Get up. The black-robed young man waved his hand. It was then that the black-robed young man took Jiyu Fei away. The black-clothed Jiyu Fei was just an incarnation. After reading the clone's memories, the black-robed young man found out everything. It's good that you're back. The black-robed young man sighed. He had finally found his two lost disciples. At present, there was one more thing. Once this was done, he would be able to head to Eternal World with a peace of mind. Eternal World. That was his stage. With Jiyu Fei's real body standing guard over the human realm enjoyed a rare period of peace. Jiyu Fei waved his sleeve and brought Yarrow Yu and the others with him, disappearing from the star. When he reappeared, he was in the Celestial Plane. Celestial Plane, Jiyu Zhong came out from Jiyu Fei's palace to welcome him. Welcome, Master. Seeing his master, Jiyu Zhong hastily saluted. Any news? Jiyu Fei asked. Not yet. Jiyu Zhong had been having a headache recently. He and Jiyu Xiaofeng had searched every inch of the Celestial Plains snow region, but they could not find Zhao Ziru. Looks like there's only one way. Jiyu Fei pondered. With a wave of his sleeve, Yarrow Yu and the others appeared in front of Jiyu Zhong. Junior sister, junior brother. Seeing Yarrow Yu and Kai Long, Jiyu Zhong was overjoyed. Eldest senior brother, Yarrow Yu and Kai Long were also excited to see Jiyu Zhong. But now, Yarrow Yu and Kai Long were only at the sacred level, while Jiyu Zhong was already in extreme supremacy. Bring junior brother and junior sister to settle down. Come see me after that. Jiyu Fei said to Jiyu Zhong. Yes, Master. Jiyu Zhong hastily led the way. The palace was very big and had many rooms. Settling down a few people was not a problem. Call Zhao Hao over. Jiyu Fei ordered one of his subordinates. Yes. The subordinate hurriedly walked out. Soon, Zhao Hao arrived at the main hall. Disciple greets master. Zhao Hao saluted Jiyu Fei. Very well, lend me a drop of your blood. Chapter 4709. In the heavenly realm, inside Jiyu Fei's palace. Jiyu Fei borrowed a drop of blood from Zhao Hao. He wanted to use his great magic and use his bloodline as a guide to see if he could find Zhao Ziru. After finding Zhao Ziru, he could leave with a peace of mind and enter the Eternal World. However, he did not have much confidence because Zhao Hao was not Zhao Ziru's direct blood relative. In a stone room in the palace, Jiyu Fei sat cross-legged on a praying mat. A drop of blood floated in front of him. This drop of blood was Zhao Hao's blood. Boom. The next moment, the drop of blood suddenly emitted an endless blood-red light. Within the blood-red light, there were countless faintly discernible lines. It was a kind of karma that appeared after the bloodline was stimulated. Jiyu Fei carefully sensed the faintly discernible blood-red lines in the blood-red light. Those lines sank into the void of heaven and earth, and it was unknown where they would go. Jiyu Fei sensed the aura of a thin line and his heart skipped a beat. Where was the other end of this line? He wanted to break through the void to investigate, but he soon gave up. That was because this thin line had transmitted a trace of the Eternal World's aura. How is this possible? Even Jiyu Fei was a little dumbfounded. Could Zhao Ziru really have entered the eternal world? It should be known that it was not easy even for him to enter the eternal world. At this time, Ji Yufei had no choice but to stop. The mysterious bloodline connection also disappeared. The endless blood-red light dissipated, and even Zhao Hao's drop of blood disappeared. Sigh. Ji Yufei sighed, then stood up and walked out of the stone room. 3 days later, Ji Yufei left quietly. Almost no one knew about his departure, and those who knew were his own people. They would not betray him. Old Tortoise came to send him off. This guy was already an extreme supreme. Ji Yufei gave the Wheel of Heavens and Myriad Realms to the Old Tortoise. They were life and death brothers. He wanted the Old Tortoise to guard the human world and the heavenly realm on his behalf and lead Ji Yufei's forces. Over the years, Ji Yufei had established a huge force. The desolate world, the ancestral god realm, the human realm, the heaven realm, the ancestral realm, and so on had forces left behind by Ji Yufei. With the Wheel of Myriad Heavens and Realms, the Old Tortoise would be able to traverse the myriad heavens and realms. His sky-blue immortal gold battle armor was given to Ji Yuling, and his 9 heavenly stars sword was given to Yang Er. Both of them were eternal-grade Dao artifacts. Of course, he also left behind the black-clothed Ji Yufei to oversee the Ji Yu family. After making all the arrangements, he walked up to a teleportation formation under everyone's gaze. In the next moment, the teleportation formation was activated, and Ji Yufei, who was on the teleportation formation, immediately disappeared. Yang Er and Ji Yuling were both extreme Dao Supremes by now. Ji Yuzhong was also an extreme Dao Supremes, and his son, Ji Yu Xiaofeng, was even more heaven-defying and had also become an extreme Dao Supremes. It was a wonderful story to have 2 extreme Dao Supremes in the same family. During this period of time, many people had reached the extreme Dao. Of course, there were also people who failed to reach the extreme Dao, and their bodies and souls were destroyed. Father, Ji Yuling was very reluctant. The corners of Yang Er's eyes were also a little wet. The Old Tortoise and the others looked solemn. Once people knew that Ji Yufei's real body had gone to the eternal world, the entire human world and the heavenly realm would be in chaos. Therefore, no one present dared to speak carelessly. Eternal world, celestial province, eternal divine dynasty. An ancient transportation formation platform in the eternal divine dynasty suddenly activated. A beam of divine light shot into the sky, and a figure appeared on the ancient transportation formation platform. This, the eternal divine dynasty's imperial lord, was dumbfounded when he saw this. Who was this guy, and why was he here? Was it a teleportation error? Did this guy accidentally teleport here from somewhere else? This kind of thing didn't always happen. Some people would remember the wrong coordinates when using the transportation formation platform, and they would be teleported to another place. At this moment, Ji Yufei was completely dumbfounded. To think that his earth-shattering cultivation state would disappear just like that. How could this be? Impossible. That was the cultivation base of an eternal realm expert, and it disappeared just like that. It did not take long before he found out why. The peerless laws of this world, eternal world, were actually suppressing his cultivation base. At this time, he was like an ordinary person. Apart from his slightly stronger body, he could not even use a trace of eternal realm power. It was a complete suppression. It was too terrifying. Only by slowly adapting to the great Tao laws of eternal world and completely washing away the aura of the lower realm could his cultivation base recover. Then, Ji Yufei was miserably captured by the eternal divine dynasty. What was even more unexpected was that the eternal divine dynasty had thrown him into an immortal crystal mine to mine. This was too embarrassing. He was a mighty eternal realm expert, and yet he was captured and sent to mine. However, there was no other way. Ji Yufei could only bear it silently and mine silently. Days passed, and Ji Yufei's cultivation base recovered day by day. As long as he completely integrated into eternal world, his power would return, and he would still be the same Ji Yufei who dominated the human world and the heaven realm. On this day, miners like Ji Yufei had 6 hours to rest during the day, while miners like him had 6 hours to rest at night. Night fell. In a cave in the mine, Ji Yufei sat cross-legged on the ground, motionless. His mind was completely immersed in cultivation. Every breath he took stirred up the surrounding airflow. Specks of multicolored light swirled around him, and his bronze skin, which was exposed outside his clothes, flowed with a crystalline luster. The chi and blood flowing under his skin washed over him in waves, tempering his skin and flesh. As his flesh and blood trembled, wisps of natal essence were released, seeping into his tendons and bones, covering them with a layer of precious light. In his dantian, the natal essence condensed into an egg-sized, multicolored ball of light, flickering. Wisps of 5 elements essence chi formed in his flesh and blood gathered in his dantian. After being tempered by the natal essence, the impure impurities were filtered out, and then dispersed, fusing back into his flesh and blood. This was the 5 elements essence chi. The 5 elements could transform into the primordial chaos, and the primordial chaos. Gu Fei's cultivation method was marvelous. He was tempering his body, and this kind of body-tempering cycle repeated again and again. There was no end to it, and there was no end to it. The flow of essence chi in Gu Fei's body completely followed the rules of heaven and earth. It was so natural, as if this was how it should be. However, it was still far from resonating with heaven and earth. It was really difficult to gain the recognition of the heavenly Tao laws of eternal world. At present, his cultivation base was not even at the almighty realm. It was pitifully low. At this time, the transformation of his flesh, blood, tendons, and bones would transform his power. In turn, the transformation of his power would promote the transformation of his tendons, bones, flesh, and blood. The two were connected, and on the path of cultivation, Gu Fei's body would become even stronger. It was as if he was cultivating anew, releasing the power within his body once more. Gu Fei had never imagined that the laws of heaven and earth of eternal world could be so powerful. They could even completely suppress his cultivation base and suppress it within his body. Only by cultivating and comprehending the laws of heaven and earth of eternal world could he guide the power of eternal world to temper his martial body. Only then could he release his cultivation base. From being invincible, he was pushed to the bottom by the power of laws of eternal world to become a glorious miner of the eternal god dynasty. Gu Fei felt so depressed that he almost coughed up blood. Chapter 47:10. The miserable Gu Fei had only just arrived in eternal world when he was captured and sent to mine. He felt so depressed that he almost coughed up blood. The immortal crystal mine was not very large. Before he knew it, Gu Fei had been mining here for 3 years. During those 3 years, Gu Fei's cultivation base had gradually recovered. His cultivation base had returned to the half-step saint realm. In eternal world, however, a half-saint could only be considered as an average expert. Zhongjun, the guard sent by eternal godly dynasty to guard the immortal crystal mine, was also a half-step saint. During those 3 years, Gu Fei had gained a better understanding of the current situation in Immortal Province. He knew that there were 3 factions in the Immortal Province, and that none of them could do anything to the other. Outside the Immortal Province, the major factions were also fighting endlessly. Gu Fei was in no mood to care about what was happening outside the Immortal Province. "I'll leave this damned place tonight." Gu Fei made up his mind. However, before nightfall, a group of masked men in black charged into the mine and engaged in a fierce battle with the guards of the Eternal Divine Dynasty. The miners naturally took advantage of this opportunity to flee. Gu Fei naturally slipped away as well. For a moment, the mine fell into chaos. By then, Gu Fei had already dived into the dense forest and sped away. "Where do you think you're going?" Just as Gu Fei walked out of the dense forest, he ran into 2 soldiers of the Eternal Godly Dynasty. The 2 soldiers charged directly at Gu Fei. "You 2 bastards!" Gu Fei roared at the 2 fellows. Heh! The 2 soldiers harbored malicious intentions and wanted to capture Gu Fei to claim their reward. There was a reward for capturing the escaped miners. Furthermore, these 2 fellows deserted in the face of danger, which was a capital offense. However, it was different to capture Gu Fei, the escaped miner. Gu Fei sneered. "Ayo, this kid is about to die, but he's still so calm." One of the fighters felt that something was off, because from the beginning to the end, Ji Fei had been very calm. The two warriors didn't waste any more words and directly reached out to grab Ji Fei. Courting death. Ji Fei made his move. He abruptly dashed forward and ruthlessly chopped at the throat of a soldier. The sound of bones breaking rang out, and in the next moment, the soldier directly fell to the ground, dead. Oh no! Seeing this, the other fighter immediately turned around and fled. However, Ji Fei caught up with the battle soldier after he had only run for a few dozen feet. He then punched the battle soldier's back fiercely. Bam! Catcher! The sound of bones breaking rang out. The soldier let out a blood-curdling scream and fell to the ground, coughing up a huge mouthful of blood. It was unknown how many pieces of his spine had been broken by Ji Fei's punch. After killing the two warriors, Ji Fei quickly left. He found a pool and took a bath. Then, he took out a set of clean clothes from his inner world and put them on. In the past 3 years, he had lived a very sullen life. Because his cultivation was too low, he couldn't even open his inner world. Only recently, when his cultivation had broken through to the semi-saint realm, could he barely open his inner world. Just as Ji Fei was about to leave the pool, he suddenly felt a sense of danger and immediately took a step to the side. In the next moment, a black shadow fell from the sky and directly pounced on the place where he had been standing. A violent aura exploded, and the surrounding sand and stones were sent flying. A circle of airwaves surged out in all directions. Ji Fei looked at the black shadow and saw that it was a giant ape that had sneak attacked him. This giant ape was 6 feet tall, and its body was covered with black hair. It was extremely violent. Just as Ji Fei was shocked, the giant ape pounced on him again, and its giant claws directly grabbed at him. Ji Fei threw out a punch. The giant claws formed a sharp contrast with Ji Fei's fist. However, it was Ji Fei's seemingly weak fist that deflected the giant ape's claws, and the giant ape's hill-like body was also sent flying. A semi-saint giant ape. Ji Fei was extremely depressed. Even a random wild beast in this mountain was so strong. The giant ape's claw was extremely powerful. When the fist and the claw collided, the hard rock ground under Ji Fei's feet immediately cracked. This giant ape seemed to have gained intelligence, and was not like ordinary wild beasts that only knew how to bite and pounce. Its blood-red eyes stared at Ji Fei, and a fierce murderous aura surged out from its body. It seemed to be a little hesitant. Hey! Ji Fei sneered, and then his body shook. A powerful wave of energy immediately burst out from his body, sweeping up the dust on the ground. Treading on 8 desolations, I am the only one, Ji Fei shouted coldly. His body was like the wind and lightning, and he soared into the sky. He then took a step forward and arrived at the head of the giant ape in an instant. He directly stepped on the giant ape's head, which was as big as a water tank. It seemed like a casual step, but it contained a shocking power. The space under his feet suddenly rippled, and a terrifying power was wreaking havoc. Roar! The giant ape roared, and it instinctively felt danger. It quickly retreated, trying to avoid Ji Fei's step. The giant ape looked huge and cumbersome, but it was extremely agile when it moved, and in an instant, it dodged. However, just as the giant ape was retreating, Ji Fei had already taken a second step. Rumble! It was as if there was wind and thunder rolling under his feet, and the unpredictable power caused the space under Ji Fei's feet to tremble. The 8 desolation steps could not only display the speed of 8 steps, but it could also display the killing skills of 8 steps. This ancient martial art magic was enough to shock the world. Ji Fei had not used this magic for a long time, but now that he used it, it was not rusty at all. At the critical moment, the giant ape roared, and then a layer of golden light surged out of its huge body, and at the same time, it raised its arm to block. Bang! Ji Fei's second step directly landed on the giant ape's arm. Boom! The giant ape, which was like a small mountain, smashed down from the sky like a golden meteorite, and the ground suddenly shook violently, and dust flew up. This terrifying giant ape directly smashed a big hole in the ground. Roar! The giant ape climbed out of the hole, and bang, bang! It madly beat its chest, and continuously roared at Ji Fei. The giant ape was extremely wild. The golden glow on its body flickered like flames. The ferocious aura it emitted was enough to make Jiyu Fei feel fearful. The giant ape's originally black fur had all turned golden. Gold element divine ape. Jiyu Fei could not help but be moved when he sensed the powerful metal elemental energy erupting from the giant ape's body. Chapter 47:11. The eternal godly dynasty of the celestial continent had almost been wiped out by the other two major factions after its founder had mysteriously perished in his seclusion grounds. However, at the critical moment, the Wuji immortal sect had stepped forward to protect the eternal godly dynasty. With the martial extreme immortal sect as its backer, the eternal divine dynasty had nothing to fear, even if it didn't have an eternal primogenitor. The Wuji immortal sect was the top faction in the eternal world. Even when the founder of the eternal godly dynasty was still alive, it couldn't compare to the Wuji immortal sect. After all, the two weren't even on the same level. There were a total of 3 eternal experts in the martial extreme celestial sect. Furthermore, that was only on the surface. No one knew whether or not there were more eternal experts secretly training in the martial extreme celestial sect. A supreme sect that had existed for countless years had an unimaginable amount of resources. Now that the founder of the eternal godly dynasty had perished, the court was controlled by the 4 kings. The 4 kings guarded the 4 corners of the dynasty and were all half-step eternal existences. Jiyu Fei's immortal crystal mine was located in the Hidden Dragon Mountains in the South King's territory. The Dragon Mountains spanned thousands of miles, and there was more than one immortal crystal mine. There were more than a dozen large immortal crystal mines, and the one where Jiyu Fei was located was on the outskirts of the Dragon Mountains. The Dragon Mountains were unusual. Legend had it that an ancient ancestral dragon had fallen here and transformed. The winding mountain range resembled a crouching dragon, which was why it was called the Hidden Dragon Mountains. The Hidden Dragon Mountains weren't peaceful. Although the immortal crystal mines were controlled by the eternal godly dynasty, there were many bandits in the mountains. These ruthless outlaws would rob the mines from time to time. This time, the largest group of bandits in the Hidden Dragon Mountains had set their eyes on the immortal crystal mine where Jiyu Fei was located and suddenly attacked it. Jiyu Fei took advantage of the chaos to escape. He didn't want to be a miner for the rest of his life. However, as soon as he escaped the mine, he ran into a golden divine ape. Roar. In the mountain ridge, the divine ape roared, shaking the sky and the earth. An extremely violent aura erupted from the divine ape, frightening countless birds and beasts in the mountain and causing them to flee in all directions. What a fierce fellow. Jiyu Fei wanted to test his strength. He stomped on the ground with his right foot and pounced towards the divine ape. 5-element fist. Jiyu Fei directly struck out with the fist technique that he had created. The 5 elements' chi was vast and mighty. As he punched out, the sound of air exploding immediately rang out in the void. The power of the 5 elements collided and intertwined on his fist, multiplying its power. The giant ape also threw a punch at Jiyu Fei. Bam! 2 fists collided in an instant. Then, 2 silhouettes flew back at the same time. However, Jiyu Fei and the great ape instantly rushed into each other, and the battle was endless. Although this giant ape was very strong, it still lacked combat experience. Who was Jiyu Fei? He had fought against all sides, relying on his pair of fists to carve out a name for himself. His wealth of combat experience was something that no one in the lower worlds could match up to. However, in Eternal World, it was hard to say. However, this giant ape's battle experience was definitely inferior to Jiyu Fei's. Bam! Jiyu Fei found the giant ape's weakness and directly smashed the giant ape into the forest. The giant ape was incomparably ferocious. It immediately charged towards Jiyu Fei, directly rushing out of the forest. However, just as the giant ape rushed out of the forest, a sharp arrow suddenly came from afar. The arrow directly shot the giant ape to the ground, killing it instantly. This, Jiyu Fei suddenly turned around and looked in the direction where the arrow had come from. He saw a masked woman in purple standing on a short mountain a few li away. The woman had a graceful figure, holding a divine bow in her hand and carrying a quiver of arrows on her back. She looked valiant and formidable. You are quite skilled. How about becoming my bodyguard? The woman on the short mountain said to Jiu Fei. Her voice was very pleasant to the ear. Sure. After saying that, Jiu Fei directly rushed towards the short mountain. When he approached the short mountain, two figures suddenly jumped out of the forest and stopped him. Jiu Fei couldn't help but frown when he saw them. They were dressed in bodyguard uniforms and were staring at him vigilantly. The fact that these two were actually half-step saints made him very depressed. Both of the bodyguards were half-step saints. Jiu Fei was very curious about the background of the woman on the mountain. Judging from her voice, she was not very old. Let him up. The woman's voice came from the short mountain. Yes, Your Highness. The bodyguard hurriedly retreated to the side. Princess. Jiu Fei was taken aback. Could the little girl on the short mountain be the South King's daughter? The South King was the ruler of the endless territory of the eternal divine dynasty in the south. He held a high position of power, and only the daughter of a king was called a princess. If she was the daughter of the emperor of the eternal divine dynasty, she would be called a princess. You are a princess. When Jiu Fei reached the top of the short mountain, he looked at the purple-clothed girl in front of him in bewilderment. Why? Don't I look like one? The masked woman said mischievously. She found this guy very interesting. There was not a trace of awe in his eyes when he looked at her. Yes, as long as you're happy. Jiu Fei touched his nose and said. Mo Wei, where the hell are you? Get your ass over here. The masked woman suddenly shouted. Swoosh. A figure silently appeared next to the purple-clothed masked woman. Greetings, Your Highness. A feminine voice rang out. As soon as the voice entered his ears, Jiu Fei immediately got goosebumps all over his body. He saw that the man had a fair face without a beard, and there was a feminine aura about him. There was not a trace of masculinity that a man should have. How could this be? Could it be that this guy had no balls? Jiu Fei suddenly thought of something and felt a little uncomfortable. Get a set of bodyguard clothes for this guy at once. The masked woman in purple said. Yes, Your Highness. The guy named Mo Wei flipped his right hand, and a set of bodyguard clothes appeared in his hand. This was the set of bodyguard clothes that he had prepared and kept in his storage ring. This was because he often had to disguise as the princess's bodyguard. Jiu Fei took the bodyguard clothes and changed into it. There was a faint fragrance coming from the clothes. This fragrance seemed to be similar to the fragrance of the masked woman in purple. Could this be the clothes that she used to wear? Soon, Jiu Fei found out the origin of the masked woman in purple. She was actually the Southern King's most beloved daughter, Hengxian. This Hengxian actually wanted to exterminate the mountain bandits. After knowing Hengxian's purpose of entering the mountain, Jiu Fei was speechless. Damn it, are you kidding me? With less than 20 bodyguards, she wants to attack the mountain bandits. In Jiu Fei's opinion, this young princess simply didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. This young princess was definitely a troublemaker. Chapter 47:12. Hengxian was the youngest daughter of the South King, one of the 4 kings of the Eternal Divine Dynasty. She was a member of the royal family of the Eternal Divine Dynasty. She had sneaked into the dragon-subduing mountain range with a group of guards to exterminate a group of bandits in the mountain range. Jiu Fei was speechless when he learned of her crazy plan. With Hengxian's cultivation, a eunuch, and 16 guards, she wanted to exterminate a group of bandits. That was simply sending himself to die. I say, Your Royal Highness, you must be joking with me, Jiu Fei said tentatively. Humph. Do I look like I'm joking? The little princess stared at Jiu Fei fiercely. You don't look like it. Jiu Fei hurriedly said. It seemed that this little girl was really determined to encircle and annihilate the mountain bandits. He could only act according to the circumstances. His cultivation had been suppressed by the power of the laws of heaven and earth in the eternal world. Even after 3 years, he had only recovered to the cultivation of a half-step saint. However, his martial body was a genuine eternal martial body. It was pitilessly powerful. Even if he encountered a saint-level bandit, or even a quasi-supreme bandit, even if he couldn't beat them, he would definitely have no problem staying alive. Soon, the little princess led Jiyu Fei and the others to a mountain. There was a city built on the top of the mountain, and a group of bandits lived in the city. This mountain was called Little Dragon Mountain. Your Highness, are you sure you want to attack the bandits here? The eunuch, Mo Wei, looked at the city on the mountain and felt guilty. How could they deal with the bandits here? From afar, the city on the top of the mountain was heavily guarded. From time to time, there were groups of bandits patrolling the city with spears in their hands. This was not a scene that ordinary bandits could have. I think we should forget about it. Jiyu Fei also shook his head secretly. How could they take down this city with just a few people? It was simply a fool's talk. It was impossible. Even if the South King sent out his elite troops, he wouldn't be able to break through this city in a short time. A bunch of cowards. Since we're here, we can't go back empty-handed. If Heng Xian was unhappy, the consequences would be dire. She knocked an arrow and pulled the divine bow in her hand to the fullest. Boundless spiritual chi of heaven and earth frantically gathered towards the bow and arrow in her hands. Powerful energy fluctuations erupted from Heng Xian's body. Quasi-supreme? Jiyu Fei was speechless. A mischievous little princess was actually a quasi-supreme being existence. How was he supposed to live? One had to know that in the human realm, even the ancestral realm and the primordial realm, a quasi-sovereign was an overlord-level existence. As long as the extreme Tao wasn't used, a quasi-sovereign would be invincible. Your Highness, what are you doing? Mo Wei panicked. At this moment, Heng Xiana released her hand, and the divine arrow turned into a resplendent divine light that shot towards the city on top of the mountain. The powerful energy fluctuations of a quasi-supreme being erupted from the divine light formed by the divine arrow. Enemy attack. On top of the city on top of the mountain, the bandits immediately panicked. At this moment, a big hand suddenly reached out from the city, grabbed the arrow light, and directly crushed it. This, at the foot of the mountain, Jiyu Fei and the others couldn't help but be shocked when they saw this scene. Go. Mo Wei didn't allow them to say anything. He directly waved his sleeves, and a mass of divine light instantly enveloped everyone. In the next moment, they directly disappeared into the void. Humph. Consider yourselves lucky for escaping. Just as Jiyu Fei and the others left, a figure silently appeared at the place where Jiyu Fei and the others were originally. At this time, in a valley thousands of miles away from the Little Dragon Mountain, everyone felt a lingering fear. Just now, if Mo Wei was one step slower, they would have been in big trouble. How can there be an extreme Tao sovereign among the bandits? Jiyu Fei really couldn't understand. An extreme Tao sovereign, even in the eternal world, should be an existence that can do whatever they want, right? Why would they become bandits? Jiyu Fei, you country bumpkin who has never seen the world. The bandits in this hidden dragon mountain are all fugitives. Those extreme Tao sovereigns are also existences that are wanted by the major forces. Mo Wei's enigmatic voice sounded, causing Jiyu Fei to have goosebumps all over his body. So that's how it is. Jiyu Fei immediately understood. Those extreme Tao sovereigns probably had nowhere else to go, so they entered the mountain and became bandits. Among the biggest group of bandits in this hidden dragon mountain, there are even half-step eternal existences. Mo Wei continued. This was the first time Jiyu Fei heard of a half-step eternal supreme existence being forced to become a bandit. Let's go. Little County Princess Heng Xian looked unhappy. Are we going back to the Wang Mansion? Jiyu Fei was really curious about this eternal world. He had just arrived in the eternal world and was caught and thrown into a mine-to-mine. He really didn't understand this super big world. It just so happened that he had a place to stay for the time being with this little county princess. This time, he came to the eternal world alone to explore the way. The heaven and earth law of the eternal world was a problem that all living beings who entered the eternal world had to face. Even he himself had fallen for it. It's so hard to get out of the Wang Mansion, I don't want to go back. Heng Xian looked unwilling. Then let's go to the small town first. Mo Wei also had a headache. He followed beside the little county princess and was always on tenterhooks, fearing that this little ancestor would cause trouble. That's it. Hung Xian nodded. As long as she didn't return to the Wang mansion, she would be fine. Blackstone Town was the only way to enter the Hidden Dragon mountain range. This town wasn't big, but it was often overcrowded because there were many people entering and leaving the Hidden Dragon mountain range. When Ji Yufei and the others entered Blackstone Town, they immediately attracted the attention of the mountain bandits in the town. This was not a good thing for them. Why are there so many people in the town today? Hung Xian was a little girl who liked crowds. Brother, what's going on here? Mo Wei grabbed a martial artist and asked. Brother, you really don't know, or are you pretending? The warrior wanted to get angry, but when he saw that Mo Wei had a lot of people, he immediately backed down. What do you mean? Ji Yufei asked. Even he was curious. The eternal ancestor dragon in the Hidden Dragon mountain range died for some reason. We are just going there to try our luck. The man quickly said. What? The old dragon of the Hidden Dragon mountain range is dead. When Mo Wei heard this, his shock was no small matter. That's right. That old dragon left his last words. His inheritance was to be obtained by the fated. Look, everyone sees themselves as the fated ones and wants to obtain the inheritance and cultivation of the old dragon of Mount Hidden Dragon. The man continued. This. Chapter 47:13. Ji Yufei had been mining for 3 years in a mine in the Hidden Dragon Mountain. He had long heard that there was an eternal level old dragon in the depths of the Hidden Dragon Mountain. Although the bandits of the Hidden Dragon Mountain were powerful, with the presence of the old dragon, these bandits didn't dare to act presumptuously. But now that the old dragon had fallen, the bandits in the Hidden Dragon Mountain had nothing to worry about and could do whatever they wanted. Under normal circumstances, eternal realm creatures wouldn't receive a bento box so easily. One must know that an eternal sovereign was a supreme creature that could exist for eternity. Even if this part of the world was destroyed, eternal realm creatures wouldn't die and would live well. Even the power to destroy heaven and earth wouldn't be able to kill them. Ji Yufei thought to himself, looks like someone killed that old dragon. Who was it? That old dragon is dead. How is that possible? Hung Xian didn't believe it at all, because not long ago, her father brought her to the depths of the Hidden Dragon Mountain to visit that old dragon. Although he was an old dragon that had lived for countless years, in Hung Xian's eyes, he was just a kind old man. Why did he suddenly die? Hung Xian was a little sad. He should have been killed by someone. Ji Yufei muttered. Who can kill that old dragon? Mo Wei exclaimed. Sigh, who cares who it is? What does it have to do with us? I'm starving to death, let's find an inn to stay in. Ji Yufei touched his belly and said. You only know how to eat, you foodie. Hung Xian glared at Ji Yufei. Ji Yufei wasn't afraid of this princess and also glared back at Hung Xian. Hung Xian reached out and was about to hit Ji Yufei. Ji Yufei quickly hid behind Mo Wei. Your Highness, I think what this kid said makes sense. Let's find a place to stay first. As Mo Wei spoke, his stomach gave a loud rumble. You bunch of foodies. Hung Xian was speechless. Soon after, they were dumbfounded. After circling around Blackstone Town, they realized that there was no place for them to stay in the huge Blackstone Town. All the inns were full, and all the inns were occupied by cultivators. What should we do? Hung Xian also didn't have any temper. She couldn't possibly chase the people in the inn out. She would stay by herself. Your Royal Highness, I remember that there is a courtyard in the prince's mansion that is not far from here. Why don't we stay there for a night? Mo Wei suddenly said. Why didn't you say so earlier? Hung Xian almost went crazy. The South King, who guarded the southern border, had built residences or temporary imperial residences in various places. Less than 20 li away from Black Hills town, there was a residence belonging to the South King. Quick, lead the way. Hung Xian said snappily. Yes, Your Highness. Mo Wei hurriedly led the way, bringing them out of Blackstone town, and then towards the courtyard. Who is it? Stop. When they arrived at the courtyard, 2 guards carrying sabers suddenly jumped out from the gate and stopped them. This courtyard was guarded by guards. Ordinary people couldn't even get close to this courtyard. Her Royal Highness has arrived. Why aren't you guys making way? Mo Wei said loudly. TCH, just because you said that she is the Royal Highness, she is the Royal Highness? One of the guards sneered. Presumptuous. Mo Wei's figure flashed, and he sent the guard flying with a slap. Enemy attack. The other courtyard guard immediately shouted. In the next moment, a figure flashed and a dozen guards carrying sabers jumped out from the courtyard. The enemy is there. A middle-aged guard leader roared in an awe-inspiring manner. Jin Shou, you are so impressive. Mo Wei's androgynous voice sounded. The middle-aged guard leader was about to lose his temper, but when he saw Mo Wei's appearance, he suddenly quivered and immediately cowered. Manager Mo, at this time, Jin Shou really wanted to kill the guy who shouted that the enemy was attacking. Her Royal Highness is really here. The guard who shouted that the enemy was attacking was immediately dumbfounded. You bastard, why are you shouting for no reason? Jin Shou roared at his subordinate and sprayed a mouthful of saliva on his face. Boss, I really didn't know that Her Royal Highness is here. The guard was so scared that his legs trembled and he almost wet his pants. In the eyes of these guards, the Royal Highness was the incarnation of a little devil. In the entire South Prince mansion, who had not been fooled by this little Royal Highness? Even the little devil South Prince dared to play tricks on her. You blind fools, why don't you open the door and welcome Her Highness in? Mo Wei shouted at Jin Shou. Yes. Jin Shou quickly sent someone to open the gate to welcome the Royal Highness. You, the Royal Highness, are very impressive. Ji Fei ridiculed. TCH, this is nothing. Heng Xian said proudly. After entering the courtyard, Heng Xian who had eaten and drunk to her heart's content, went to her room to rest. Ji Fei, who had also eaten and drunk to his heart's content, wandered around the courtyard. As expected of the South Prince's courtyard, it was not a small place. There were pavilions, small bridges, and flowing water. The scenery was beautiful. Moreover, there was a spirit-gathering formation here, so the spirit energy in the courtyard was much denser than outside. The South Prince's courtyard of the Eternal Divine Dynasty was naturally different from the courtyards of ordinary families. At a glance, Ji Fei could tell that not only was there a spirit-gathering formation here, but there were also at least 3 killing formations. Once these 3 killing formations were activated, even a quasi-supreme wouldn't be able to break in. He didn't have the slightest bit of respect for the Royal Highness or the Royal Highness. It should be noted that in the human world and other great worlds, he was an invincible existence. Anyone who saw him would be respectful. As long as others respected him, there was no one in this world that Ji Fei respected. Hey, do you think we should also go to the Hidden Dragon Mountains to try our luck? Try our luck. With your cultivation level, you'll be courting death if you go. Yeah, the old dragon's inheritance and power aren't that easy to obtain. Who knows how many big shots are eyeing it? When Ji Fei walked behind a fake mountain, he suddenly heard someone talking in front of him. It turned out that the guards of this courtyard were talking to each other. From them, Ji Fei learned that although the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains had fallen, he used his last bit of power to seal his lifetime's power. Unlocking the seal would allow one to obtain this power. Who didn't want to obtain great power? This was the reason why cultivators gathered at the Hidden Dragon Mountains. However, it was an unchanging law in the cultivation world that those with weak cultivation would become cannon fodder for those with strong cultivation. Countless cultivators flocking to the Hidden Dragon Mountains would ultimately benefit the strong. The Old Dragon's Lifetime's Power. Chapter 47:14. Eternal World, Celestial Continent, Eternal Godly Dynasty's Southern Region. The South King was staying in a courtyard near the hibernating Dragon Mountain Range. Ji Fei inadvertently overheard a conversation between several guards and learned why countless cultivators were rushing into the hibernating Dragon Mountain Range in a frenzy. It turned out that the old dragon in the depths of the Hidden Dragon Mountains not only left behind his inheritance, but also sealed his cultivation base for the fated ones. The old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains was an eternal supremacy. How powerful was the lifetime cultivation base of an eternal supremacy? Anyone would be envious of it. It was unknown how many powerful creatures had come to the Hidden Dragon Mountains at this time. Not only the experts of the human race, but also the powerful creatures of other alien races. Whether it was the inheritance of the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains or the lifetime cultivation base of the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains, it was enough to change the lives of all the experts. It seems that I have to make a trip. Jiu Fei didn't care so much. He had already made up his mind. He returned to his residence and waited quietly. In the middle of the night, Jiu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged on the bed, suddenly opened his eyes. He quietly left his residence, evading the guards, and arrived at the foot of the courtyard's high walls. This place was the weakest part of the courtyard's killing array. When Jiu Fei was about to slip away, a figure walked over. "It's you. It's you." When Jiu Fei saw this person, he couldn't help but be surprised. This person who suddenly appeared was the daughter of the Southern King, Hengxian. "Your Highness, you also want to slip away?" Jiu Fei was amused. "What do you think?" Hengxian said impatiently. Jiu Fei didn't waste any more words. He directly jumped onto the wall and carefully flipped over. These few actions were simple and direct. He didn't touch the courtyard's array. Hengxian's eyes lit up when she saw this scene. She also jumped onto the wall and flipped over. She also didn't touch the courtyard's array. After the two of them flipped over the wall, they quickly left. Early the next morning, the entire courtyard was in chaos. Their princess had disappeared, and that guy named Jiu Fei had also disappeared. That damned Jiu Fei, he actually kidnapped the little princess. "Why aren't you guys going to find it for me?" The steward of the southern prince's mansion, Mo Wei, was shocked and anxious. If anything happened to the princess, he would also be buried with her. Yes. Everyone acknowledged the order and dispersed. Mo Wei, on the other hand, was restless. They naturally couldn't find Hengxian and Jiu Fei, because at this time, they had already entered the mountain. Hengxian, on the other hand, felt that all of this was incomparably fresh and exciting. Ever since she was born, she had never tried to venture out alone. Hengxian covered her face and carried a bow and arrows on her back as she followed beside Jiu Fei. As soon as they entered the mountain, they were blocked by two fellows who jumped out from the forest on both sides of the mountain path. "Hehe, a deal delivered to our door early in the morning, what luck?" A middle-aged man holding a pair of big axes grinned at Jiu Fei and Hengxian. "Humph. You two, obediently hand over all your things, or else, a white knife will enter and a red knife will come out. I, your father, will give you 2 holes with 1 knife." Another tall and thin man said with a sinister smile, holding a big knife in his hand. "Are these bandits?" Hengxian stared curiously at the 2 fellows in front of her. "What do you think?" Jiu Fei was really speechless. It turned out that the little princess had never seen bandits before. However, the cultivation of these 2 bandits was a bit scary. Both of them were half-step saints. This was also the first time he had encountered half-step saint-level bandits. "Hehe, I'll play with these 2 fellows." The little princess was eager to give it a try. "As long as you're happy," Jiu Fei said indifferently with his hands behind his back. This little princess is really bored. She's a saint-level expert, yet she wants to bully a half-step saint. This little girl has a good figure. Catch her and make her the wife of a bandit. The boorish middle-aged man said loudly and rushed toward the little princess. "You're courting death." Hengxian took a step forward and instantly disappeared into the void. "What?" The middle-aged man wielding the axes was taken aback. In the next moment, a foot directly stomped down from the sky. Bam! The foot stepped on the burly man's head, and then the burly man's head was directly stomped into his chest. With just one move, Hengxian seriously injured the middle-aged man. The remaining tall and thin guy was so scared that his legs went soft when he saw this scene. At this time, the middle-aged man's corpse fell to the ground. "Fun, haha," Hengxian laughed loudly, she was very proud of herself. "Heroine, spare my life, heroine, spare my life." The other bandit directly threw away the weapon in his hand and directly knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. "TSK, you're all cowards." Hung Xian was really disappointed. She originally wanted to play with these two bandits, but who would have thought that one of them was too weak, and the other was too smart, knowing to beg for mercy. Puff! Hung Xian kicked a small stone with the tip of her foot, and the small stone directly pierced the bandit's head. The bandit also died. You don't want the spoils of war, Ji Yufei said. Hung Xian couldn't help but frown when she heard this, and said, "What good things can these two fellows have?" "That too." Ji Yufei nodded. Therefore, they directly left this place and headed towards the depths of the Hidden Dragon Mountains. Hung Xian and her father, Nan Wang, had once visited the old dragon in the Hidden Dragon Mountains, so they knew the way. But soon, they encountered a group of bandits. Their luck was really too bad. This time, they were blocked by more than a dozen bandits in a valley. "If you don't want to die, quickly scram," Ji Yufei directly shouted at these guys. "What did you say, boy?" A big bandit holding a spear roared at Ji Yufei. A mere half-step saint dared to be presumptuous in front of them. He really didn't know the meaning of death. Kill. Ji Yufei didn't bother to talk nonsense. He directly pounced into the group of bandits like a heavenly beast. The next moment, miserable screams rang out, and immediately, 3 or 4 bandits were all sent flying by a punch. By the time these guys fell to the ground, they were already dead. "Aya, Ji Yufei, don't kill all of them. Leave a few for me to enjoy." Hung Xian excitedly rushed up and joined the battle. One had to say that the cultivation technique of the Eternal Divine Dynasty was really strong. As soon as the princess made a move, the bandits were immediately routed. This group of bandits had kicked an iron plate this time. Exciting. Hung Xian shouted and attacked. The bandits wanted to cry. What's so exciting about it? Seeing that they weren't a match for her, these bandits scattered in all directions. "Hey, don't go." Hung Xian heartlessly asked them to stay and let her kill them. Only a fool would stay. Chapter 47:15. The princess of the Southern King of the Eternal Divine Dynasty had been abducted. The entire Southern King's mansion was in chaos. Even the Southern King was alarmed. That was his most beloved daughter. How could she be abducted from the Hidden Dragon Mountains? What kind of place was the Hidden Dragon Mountains? Even he had to be careful when entering the Hidden Dragon Mountains. One had to know that the Hidden Dragon mountain range was already very chaotic. The 5 bandit groups in the Hidden Dragon mountain range were not a joke. The leader of each bandit group was a half-step eternal existence. Not long ago, the 5 bandit groups seemed to have made a move. Someone seemed to want to subdue them for his own use. The 5 bandit groups dared to attack the immortal crystal mine of the Eternal Divine Dynasty in the Hidden Dragon Mountains. If they were really subdued, even the Southern King's mansion wouldn't be able to touch them. Moreover, the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains had fallen without warning. The situation in the Hidden Dragon Mountains became even more chaotic. Someone spread the news that the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains had left behind an inheritance, countless cultivation resources, and even a lifetime's worth of cultivation. Whether it was the inheritance of the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains, the cultivation resources, or his lifetime's worth of cultivation, they were all fatal temptations to countless cultivators. Even the corpse of the old dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountains was a supreme treasure. A drop of dragon blood could be used to refine great medicine. The Southern King, who was in charge of the southern border of the Eternal Divine Dynasty, sent 3 experts to the Hidden Dragon Mountains to look for Hung Xian. While everyone in the Southern King's mansion was worried about Hung Xian, the carefree Hung Xian was having a good time in the Hidden Dragon Mountains. After the little princess killed a group of bandits as if she was on steroids, she left the small valley with Ji Yufei and continued to advance towards the depths of Mount Fulong. "Do you really know the way?" Ji Yufei was led around the mountains by the little girl for half a day. It was getting late and he couldn't help but have serious doubts. "TSK, how dare you look down on this princess? Believe it or not, I'll beat you up until your mother can't recognize you." Hung Xian waved her fists and pretended to be very fierce. "I believe you, I believe you. As long as you're happy." Ji Yufei looked disapproving. "What's with that expression? Do you want to get beaten up?" Hung Xian was addicted to beating people up. As she spoke, she threw a punch at Ji Yufei. Ji Yufei stretched out his right hand and directly grabbed Hung Xian's fist. Her small fist was soft and weak, and he was afraid that he would hurt her if he used too much force. Although his cultivation base was suppressed by the heavenly Dao laws of Eternal World, that was only because his grand Dao had yet to gain the recognition of Eternal World's heavenly Dao. Ji Yufei's martial body was still a genuine eternal martial body. Even a half-step eternal existence wouldn't be able to kill him. They could only trap him or even seal him. He couldn't use all kinds of powerful martial arts, and he couldn't use the power of the great Dao above the semisage realm. He could only rely on the power of his martial body to fight against a sage realm expert, or even a quasi-supremacy. If he were to encounter an extreme supremacy, he would only be tortured. The old dragon might be the only eternal level creature in the Hidden Dragon Mountains, but there were definitely many supreme beings. Given his current situation, it was better to be careful. When Hung Xian's fist was grabbed by Ji Yufei, she felt a warmth coming from his fist, as if it was wrapped in warm water. She couldn't help but feel her heart skip a beat, and her face heated up. She hurriedly withdrew her fist, a look of panic on her face. "What's wrong with me?" Hung Xian turned around abruptly, not daring to look at Ji Yufei. Her face was burning hot. Fortunately, she had covered her face, or it would be too embarrassing. In the Hidden Dragon Mountains, there were bandits, ferocious beasts, and the elite soldiers of the Eternal God Dynasty's South King. However, these elite soldiers were used to guard the mine. After being grabbed by Ji Yufei's fist, Hung Xian suddenly became quiet. She walked in front without making a sound. There were no roads in the mountains, and there were dense forests everywhere. The roars of wild beasts could be heard from time to time. The heavenly Dao laws of Eternal World were too strong. Only saint-level creatures could fly, which was something unimaginable in Ji Yufei's original world. The saint-level creatures in the human realm and even the ancestral realm were extremely powerful. They could roam the starry sky, pluck the stars and catch the moon, and were almost omnipotent. But in Eternal World, the saint-level creatures had only just reached the level of flight. It was impossible for them to roam the 9 heavens and pluck the stars and moon. In Eternal World, only the extreme Dao Supremes had the ability to overturn rivers and seas. Ji Yufei and Hung Xian leaped from treetop to treetop. When they crossed a mountain ridge, they suddenly saw a plume of black smoke rushing out from the mountain ridge in front of them. That is, Ji Yufei furrowed his brows. "Haha, there's another fight." Hung Xian immediately became spirited, and she rushed toward the place where the black smoke was rising. What a violent chick! Ji Yufei couldn't help but shake his head. He could see that this chick had been restrained for a long time, and she was like a canary in a cage. Once she was let out of the cage, she would start to let go of herself. Soon, they arrived near the place where the black smoke was rising. Smell of blood. Ji Yufei immediately smelled something strange in the air. Smell of blood. Hung Xian became excited when she heard that. They carefully passed through the forest and saw that there was a large flat area outside the forest, and there was a hidden stronghold here. The stronghold was not very big, but the walls were made of blue bricks. These blue bricks were cut directly from the bluestone, and they were extremely hard. This was simply a fortress. However, at this time, the gate of the stronghold was smashed by someone, and there were many corpses lying around the entrance. Ji Yufei noticed that there was not a single intact weapon on the ground. Those were all Dao soldiers, not ordinary weapons. However, these Dao soldiers were all broken. There was no sound coming from the stronghold, and it was terrifyingly quiet. "Let's go." Hung Xian was somewhat impatient. "Wait." Ji Yufei's face was somewhat solemn. "What are you waiting for?" Hung Xian said impatiently. "Aren't you afraid of an ambush inside?" Ji Yufei suddenly laughed. Hung Xian was startled when she heard this, but then she smiled slyly and took out a puppet from her inner world. That's right, it was a puppet. She directly injected a stream of Yuan Qi into the puppet, and the next moment, the puppet turned into a person, another Hung Xian. Camouflage? Seeing this, Ji Yufei couldn't help but laugh. "TCH, What does a bumpkin like you know? This is called a scapegoat puppet. It can save lives. Hung Xian looked at Ji Yufei with disdain. Good stuff. Do you have any more? Give me one. Ji Yufei's eyes suddenly lit up when he heard this. A scapegoat puppet, such an inconspicuous thing, could really save lives at a critical moment. With this thing, it was equivalent to having an extra life. Do you think this is a common item that you can find easily? Chapter 47:16. There was a stronghold hidden in the mountains. Needless to say, this stronghold was definitely a stronghold of bandits. Otherwise, who would be so bored as to build a stronghold in the depths of the mountains? Ji Yufei was very depressed. With his current cultivation, his divine sense could only cover a radius of a few hundred feet around him. He couldn't sense whether there were experts hiding in the stronghold. They didn't dare to rashly break into the stronghold. This kind of stronghold of bandits would definitely have all kinds of traps laid down. Although Ji Yufei wasn't afraid, if he fell into the array and got trapped inside, he would be out of luck. His martial body was powerful, but he couldn't even use the sacred level divine ability. If he was trapped in the array, it would be difficult for him to get out. Although Hung Xian was a sacred level expert, her combat experience was almost equivalent to 0. If she encountered an expert, she wouldn't even know how she died. However, Hung Xian was very smart. She directly used her death scapegoat puppet to investigate the situation of the stronghold. The death scapegoat puppet turned into Hung Xian's appearance and directly walked towards the entrance of the stronghold. I say, will this move of yours work? Ji Yufei was very doubtful of Hung Xian's ability. The death scapegoat puppet was only a death scapegoat and didn't seem to have any great divine ability. Ji Yufei was an eternal sovereign in the lower realm, so he could also refine things like death scapegoat puppets. However, in this damned place where the heavenly Tao suppressed people to death, he couldn't even use the sacred level divine ability. Why not? If you can do it, then do it. Hung Xian glared at Ji Yufei and said. Hehe, as long as you're happy. Ji Yufei didn't want to argue with this little girl because he knew that women could sometimes be unreasonable, especially this unruly little princess. Both of them stared at the figure of the death scapegoat puppet, only to see the figure directly walk through the broken gate of the stronghold. Then, there seemed to be no then. It was like a stone sinking into the sea. What the hell? Ji Yufei looked at Hung Xian and said. Hung Xian glared at Ji Yufei and then walked out of her hiding place. Hey, what are you doing? Ji Yufei quickly pulled her back. What else can we do? Kill our way in, Hung Xian said. Her death replacement puppet was still inside. Just like that. Do you want to die? Ji Yufei was really worried about this girl's IQ. You may be a coward, but I'm not. As Hung Xian spoke, she was about to leave. Wait, I'll go, okay? Ji Yufei could not admit defeat, especially in front of a woman. You! A half-step saint. Hung Xian smiled disdainfully. What? Are you looking down on me? Use your Dao soldier to slash at me. Ji Yufei was not convinced. Are you crazy? Even the weakest of my Dao soldiers is a sacred artifact. Hung Xian looked at Ji Yufei as if she was looking at a monster. Ha ha. Very good. In that case, use your most powerful Dao artifact to scratch me. If you can scratch the skin on my hand, you will be my master. I will do whatever you tell me to do. What do you think? Ji Yufei laughed. All right, that's what you said. Hung Xian was overjoyed and directly took out a sword from her inner world. As soon as this sword was taken out, the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. Half-step eternal Dao weapon? Your old man really dotes on you a little too much, Ji Yufei said with a smile. What are you talking about? Hung Xian was unhappy and directly drew her sword. Give me your hand. Hung Xian's almond-shaped eyes widened as she stared at Ji Yufei angrily. Ji Yufei directly pulled up his sleeves, revealing his skin. Hey, I didn't expect your skin to be so good. When Hung Xian saw Ji Yufei's jade-like arm, she was a little surprised. This guy's skin was even better than a girl's. She was a little envious and jealous. Hurry up and do it. What are you waiting for? Ji Yufei was a little impatient. Heng Xian'er gritted her teeth and directly took out her sword and gently cut Ji Yufei's arm. However, the scene of blood spurting out did not appear at all. How is this possible? Heng Xian'er rubbed her eyes, thinking that she was seeing things. However, there was not even a scratch on Ji Yufei's arm that was cut by the sword edge. Impossible, Heng Xian'er couldn't believe what she saw. The sword in her hand was a half-step eternal Dao weapon, but it couldn't even cut the skin of a little half-step sage. What's impossible? Ji Yufei was proud. Again, Heng Xian'er didn't believe it. This time, she directly used her sword to cut Ji Yufei's arm. Then, Heng Xian'er was dumbfounded. This time, she saw it clearly. She stared at the place on Ji Yufei's arm that was cut by the sword edge. Impossible. Could it be that this sword is fake? Heng Xian'er looked dumbfounded. She even suspected that the half-step eternal sword in her hand was fake. Well, I also suspect that this sword is fake. Why don't you give this sword to me? Ji Yufei said seriously. Trying to fool this princess. Dream on. Heng Xian'er directly threw the half-step eternal sword into her inner world. Are you an eternal supremacy? Heng Xian'er stared at Ji Yufei with a puzzled look. What do you think? Ji Yufei said, pretending to be mysterious. Are you still not going? Heng Xian'er said angrily. Yes. Ji Yufei said as he walked out of his hiding place and then walked unhurriedly towards the gate of the stronghold. He dared to enter the stronghold because he had an eternal martial body. Unless an eternal supremacy attacked, no one could hurt him. Ji Yufei felt that the closer he got to the stronghold, the stronger the smell of blood in the air. He would not foolishly walk in through the gate of the stronghold. There was more than one place to enter the stronghold. The high wall was useless to Ji Yufei. He walked to a secret place and then carefully climbed up the wall. Cunning guy. Heng Xian'er, who was hiding in the dark, saw this scene and directly raised her middle finger at Ji Yufei, who was climbing the wall. Very quickly, Ji Yufei climbed to the top of the wall and discovered that there were countless runes imprinted on the wall. However, these runes had already collapsed. Obviously, this stronghold had a protective array, but it was broken by someone. The person who attacked was very straightforward, and the array was also broken in a straightforward manner. It seemed that a single blow had shattered the array patterns of the entire array. Ji Yufei leaned on the wall and looked into the stronghold. He saw that the stronghold was in a mess, and the ground was littered with corpses. The entire stronghold seemed to have been annihilated by someone. At that moment, Ji Yufei also saw Heng Xian'er's death scapegoat puppet incarnation. The puppet incarnation was circling around the empty space of the stronghold. Array, bewildering array. Ji Yufei saw through it with a glance. The puppet incarnation was surrounded by invisible array patterns. Under the gaze of Ji Yufei's eternal divine eyes, nothing in the stronghold could hide. Some of the array formations in the stronghold had not been completely broken. An extreme Dao level array? Ji Yufei was speechless. In Eternal World, even an extreme Dao supremacy had become a bandit. In Ji Yufei's original world, this was absolutely unimaginable. Ji Yufei no longer hesitated. He jumped down from the wall and landed inside the stronghold. Who killed this bandit? Chapter 47:17. Within the stronghold, there were corpses, blood and broken magic artifacts everywhere. As Ji Yufei walked through the stronghold, he could not help but be moved when he saw the scene. The one who attacked was incomparably powerful. His combat power was even more terrifying. Everyone in the stronghold had been killed with one blow. That was evident from the corpses on the ground. Amazing. He looks like I did back in the day, Ji Yufei murmured. There were quite a number of capable people in Eternal World. He circled around the stronghold but did not find anything. These bandits were really unlucky. He did not know who they had offended, but that person did not take away the cultivation resources here even after wiping out the entire stronghold of bandits. Ji Yufei found a considerable number of immortal crystals in the basement behind the stronghold. That was a bargain for him. The worldly spiritual energy within Eternal World was simply too abundant. Due to that, Cultivators at the immortal god stage and above would utilize immortal crystals for their cultivation. The immortal crystals could be divided into 4 grades: low grade, mid grade, high grade, and top grade. 1 grade lower than immortal crystals were spirit stones. Cultivators below the immortal god stage would use spirit stones for cultivation. As for experts at the sacred stage and above, they would no longer use immortal crystals for their cultivation. Instead, they would use sky crystals, which were of a higher grade compared to immortal crystals. Sky crystals contained the purest worldly essence energy within eternal world. Deep within the hidden Dragon Mountains was a heavenly crystal mine. In order to protect the heavenly crystal mine, the eternal godly dynasty had stationed an army of eternal godly dynasty there. The cultivation system in eternal world had been developed to the extreme. Here, the lifespan of all living beings was far longer than that of ordinary living beings. Long lifespans meant long cultivation time. Therefore, immortals and gods were as common as dogs in eternal world. Sages could be found everywhere. Even supreme exalts were a common sight. However, supreme existences in the eternal stage would not casually appear. At that moment, Ji Yufei sent a signal to Heng Xian. Soon, Heng Xian arrived. When she saw that her death scapegoat puppet was trapped in the broken array of the stronghold, she became furious. She stepped forward and took out the half-step eternal divine sword. With one slash, she destroyed the broken array and kept the death scapegoat puppet. Humph! As expected, there are still survivors. At this time, a sneer sounded in the minds of Ji Yufei and Heng Xian. What? Ji Yufei and Chu Yang were both taken aback. In the next moment, a huge golden hand directly descended from the sky, blasting towards Ji Yufei and Heng Xian in the stronghold. The violent palm force erupted, and ripples visible to the naked eye appeared in the void. Extreme Supreme? Ji Yufei could not help but change his expression when he sensed the powerful energy ripples that erupted from the golden hand that slammed down from the sky. What? Heng Xian was stunned by this scene. She stood there in a daze, not knowing what to do. Do you want to die? Ji Yufei pulled Heng Xian over and pressed her under his body. Then, he propped himself up with all 4 limbs and used his back to receive the palm that was descending from the sky. Rumble, as the golden hand slammed down, the entire village began to shake. One house after another turned into dust and drifted between heaven and earth. Boom! As the golden hand fell, there was a loud noise that shook the mountains. The entire village was smashed into the ground by the golden hand that descended from the sky. I thought there would be a big shot, but it's just 2 little guys. A figure appeared in the sky, looking down at the flying dust below and said indifferently. In the next moment, this person took a step forward and instantly disappeared into the void, leaving directly. Creatures below the Extreme Supreme wouldn't be able to survive at all. This Extreme Supreme didn't expect that a little half-saint could actually withstand his attack. The smoke and dust in the mountain lasted for a full 4 hours before dissipating. In the mountain ridge, the original location of the stronghold was impressively replaced by a huge palm print. At this time, 2 guys climbed out of the giant palm print sneakily. Heng Xian was really speechless. She never thought that Ji Yufei could actually block the attack of an Extreme Supreme and save her life. Just now, if it weren't for Ji Yufei protecting her under his body, she was afraid that she would really die. The moment the golden hand fell, she felt how close she was to death. However, even though she was protected by Ji Yufei's body and Heng Xian was wearing an extreme downgrade protective armor, she was still injured. Of course, it was only a light injury. Seeing Heng Xian's disheveled appearance, Ji Yufei couldn't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? You're even more miserable than this princess, okay? Heng Xian glared at Ji Yufei and said angrily. Ji Yufei was really miserable. His clothes were torn and hung on his body, and there was a faint palm print on his back. Heng Xian couldn't help but admire him. This guy actually had such a powerful Dao body. Could it be that this guy was really an eternal level-old monster? Did something go wrong with his cultivation, causing his cultivation to drop from the eternal realm to the bottom? Heng Xian couldn't help but doubt this. One must know that it was impossible for a half-step sage to have such a powerful Tao body. That was the attack of an extreme supreme, and he actually withstood it. Who is the one who plotted against this princess? If this princess finds out, I will definitely tear him to pieces. Heng Xian'er said fiercely. You better wash up and sleep. The other party is an extreme supreme. Ji Yufei said disapprovingly. TSK, is an extreme supreme so awesome? Heng Xian'er said disdainfully. Her father, Nan Wang, was a half-step eternal existence. Not awesome, not awesome. Ji Yufei echoed. This chick really gave him a headache. Heng Xian'er still wanted to say something. Let's go quickly. If that person comes back, we won't be able to leave even if we want to. Ji Yufei said quickly. That's true. Let's go, let's go. Heng Xian'er was also afraid. If he attacked again, she would be dead, but Ji Yufei definitely wouldn't die. The two of them hurriedly left the mountain range. Ji Yufei found a pool and took a bath. Then, he killed a ferocious beast and happily roasted its meat. As for Heng Xian'er, she also secretly went to the pool to take a bath. While Ji Yufei and Heng Xian'er were eating and drinking, in the depths of the Hidden Dragon Mountains, a large number of experts had gathered outside an immortal's cave. The powerful auras that erupted from them even affected the celestial phenomena in the sky. Does the Eternal Immortal sect want to monopolize this immortal's cave? A figure shrouded in demonic aura glared at a figure shrouded in celestial light on the opposite mountain peak. Go back to where you came from, Mo Zhentian, the figure retorted. Preposterous. I found this immortal's cave first. The Devil Supreme said angrily. So what? The Supreme from the Eternal Immortal sect said coldly. You're courting death. Chapter 47:18. Eternal World, Immortal Province, Mount Surrendering Dragon. It was very lively. The Hidden Dragon Mountains were located in the southern part of the Eternal Godly Dynasty's territory in the Immortal Province. It had always been a land of chaos and bandits. Following the fall of the Old Dragon, the entire Mount Fu Long mountain range became even more chaotic. In particular, some people said that even though the Old Dragon in the Hidden Dragon Mountains had fallen, he left behind a cave abode and his cultivation base. Now, all the cultivators who received the news rushed to the Mount Surrendering Dragon like madmen. In the depths of the Mount Surrendering Dragon, in front of a grotto mansion, experts from various major factions were facing off. Mo Zhentian, the first devil son of the Eternal Demon sect, was fighting against Yu Huang, the holy daughter of the Eternal Immortal sect. Back in the Chaos Immortal Mansion world, the two of them had successfully snatched away a Grand Tao Golden Lotus before fleeing back to Eternal World. As for these two fellows, they were truly amazing. They had both successfully taken that step and attained extreme Tao fruits. Mo Zhentian made the first move. Supreme Devil Fist. He immediately unleashed the Eternal Demon sect's Eternal Grade Fist technique. The Eternal Demon sect was the #1 demonic sect in Eternal World, and had existed for countless years. The Supreme Devil Fist was an Eternal Grade Fist technique that only true disciples of the sect were qualified to cultivate. Mo Zhentian's punch caused the air within a radius of several kilometers to tremble. The overbearing fist energy shook heaven and earth. So near, yet worlds apart soared. Yu Huang took a step forward, evading Mo Zhentian's punch. She waved her right hand, and a beam of sword light shot toward him at incredible speed. The sword was a combination of the power of time and space, and was the ultimate secret magic of the Eternal Immortal sect. Mo Zhentian wanted to evade, but he couldn't. Eternal Demon Body. Mo Zhentian let out a furious roar and a powerful demonic energy erupted from his body. A demonic shadow rushed out from his body and blocked the immortal sword light that was coming for him. Good. Yu Huang bellowed and attacked with her sword again. You think I'm afraid of you? Mo Zhentian sneered and charged forward. The two supreme experts began to fight. At this time, the other experts outside the cave did not make a move. They were all watching the show. The Old Dragon of the Hidden Dragon Mountain was a supreme eternal level existence. How could the cave abode he left behind be so easily broken into? While Mo Zhentian and Yu Huang were fighting, Ji Fei, and Heng Xian were also advancing towards the depths of the Hidden Dragon Mountains. They were extremely cautious, not daring to provoke the terrifying beasts in the mountains. Ji Fei's ability to survive in the wild was not to be underestimated. However, Heng Xian didn't have any experience at all. If it weren't for Ji Fei watching from the side, she would have been bitten by a poisonous snake that suddenly jumped out of the grass. Although she wasn't bitten by the snake, Heng Xian was still frightened. Just as they crossed over a mountain ridge, the sounds of fighting suddenly came from ahead. Ji Fei hurriedly looked forward and saw that in the mountain ridge in front of him, there was actually another stronghold. A black shadow was killing in and out of the stronghold, unexpectedly unstoppable. A little interesting. Ji Fei watched as the person displayed his invincible might. He saw that the person actually used a pair of fists to beat the bandits into a sorry state. The person was very domineering, killing a bandit with a single punch. Roar. A roar came from the stronghold, only to see a burly man brandishing a saber, fiercely rushing towards the black-clothed man, slashing down with his saber. Swish. The sound of breaking air resounded, the void seemed to be torn apart. However, the person still punched out, directly shattering the opponent's saber. His fist did not stop and directly smashed into the opponent's chest. In the next moment, the sound of bones breaking came from the burly man's body, then he collapsed to the ground and died just like that. One punch killed. Could it be that this person destroyed the previous stronghold? Ji Fei's eyes suddenly lit up when he thought of this. So powerful. Heng Xian couldn't help but exclaim when she saw the incomparably domineering person. Very soon, the bandits in the stronghold couldn't bear it anymore and began to scatter in all directions. The black-clothed man didn't chase after them. He seemed to be enjoying the pleasure of punching flesh. After that, the stronghold was empty. The bandits here were either killed by the black-clothed man or escaped. Come out. The middle-aged man suddenly roared at the place where Ji Fei and Heng Xian were hiding. Ji Fei knew that he couldn't hide anymore, so he directly walked out of his hiding place. Heng Xian could only follow behind Ji Fei. Eat my fists. The man directly punched at Ji Fei. You think I'm afraid of you? The black-clothed man clenched his right fist and also punched at the middle-aged man. Bam! The two fists collided, and then Heng Xian saw that the person who retreated was actually this powerful middle-aged man, not Ji Fei. Good kid. The middle-aged man was majestic, and his eyes were like lightning. He stopped retreating and looked at the black-clothed young man in surprise. Martial Extreme Immortal Trace Fist Technique. Are you a disciple of the Martial Extreme Immortal Sect? Ji Fei suddenly said. How did you know? The middle-aged man was shocked when he heard this. The Eastern Martial Immortal Sect was one of the top sects in the Eternal World. This black-clothed young man could actually tell that his fist technique was from the Martial Extreme Immortal Sect. Could it be that this kid had some kind of relationship with the Martial Extreme Immortal Sect? Haha, I just happen to know a few disciples of the Eastern Martial Immortal Sect. Ji Fei said with a smile. Back in the Primal Chaos Immortal Mansion world, he had met Wu Jizi and the other two disciples of the Martial Extreme Immortal Sect. I see. The middle-aged man's eyes flashed with a cold light. If you two don't mind, how about coming to my place? The middle-aged man said. Sure. Ji Fei readily agreed. Heng Xian also had no objections. With that, the middle-aged man led Ji Fei and Heng Xian away from the stronghold, disappearing into the mountains. Meanwhile, in front of the old dragon's cave in Mount Hidden Dragon, Holy Daughter Yu Huang of the Eternal Immortal Sect and Devil Son Mo Zhentian of the Eternal Devil Sect were still fighting. The two of them were evenly matched, and it would not be easy to determine a victor. Someone was trying to break the seal of the old dragon's cave. However, as long as someone attacked the seal at the entrance of the cave, they would suffer a counterattack. Many people were unlucky. Although they didn't lose their lives, injuries were unavoidable. Hey, old bro, I didn't think your place would be so good. The middle-aged man led Ji Fei and Heng Xian to a valley where flowers bloomed and the scenery was picturesque. It was as if they had entered a paradise. Hihi, it's not bad. The middle-aged man, Liang Feng, smiled as he brought Ji Yufei and Heng Xian into a pavilion. Then, he ordered people to serve wine and dishes to entertain them. Old bro, you're too polite. Ji Yufei sat down and drank a large bowl of wine. Heng Xian also wanted to take a sip, but Ji Yufei seemed to be careless and knocked the wine bowl in her hand to the ground. Ayo, what's going on? I feel a little dizzy. Ji Yufei sat down on the stone bench and looked like he was on the verge of collapse. When Heng Xian saw this, she was shocked. Ha ha,